Hello, hello. Welcome to my so-called Gen X life. My name is Natalie. This is my channel. This is my so-called book club. We are finishing up the fourth turning tonight, but I'm supposedly joined by Grendelson, my subscriber, my mod, my channel member. What you doing back there, Grendelson?
I got my book.
You got your book. Yay!
And I've already started reading it.
Yes.
I'm in the third chapter, but I read that last half too already.
Nice. What do you think?
My mom. Oh, I love it.
What do you think so far?
I love it. It's like, I mean, I'm not a big biography reader. I'm just not. I don't know why. I love fiction. I love nonfiction, but I'm not a big bio reader. And I don't know. Maybe it's just because sometimes the voices are all stilted, or it's ghost written badly. These guys did not ghost write this book.
No, and that's what sets it apart.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So. It's super fun. I mean, the dialogue back and forth is hilarious. Hey Dale, hey Edward.
Hello. I gotta give everybody a chance to hop in here. Here we go. Yeah, all right, sorry. Go ahead.
No. We're gonna just vamp it. Let everyone get on board, right?
Yeah.
So I loved it. I'm super looking forward to finishing it and to doing the book club.
Hey, well, this is a big night for a lot of reasons. Number one, we are wrapping up the fourth turning. This is the last week of the fourth turning by William Strauss and Neil Howe. Yes, we are also. I'm gonna
get our apocalyptic dreams out of our head.
Yes, exactly. Also, at the beginning of the stream right now, tonight, this is your last chance to enter for a free copy of Nelson's What Happened to Your Hair, because at the end of this stream tonight, we are drawing for the 5 winners. So this is your last chance right now. Tonight's phrase to put in the chat. Replay is going to be too late, so you got to put in the chat right now. Hopefully you're here. If you want to enter to win, the phrase to put in the chat is hot Swedish chicks. That
You just picked that, didn't you?
Well, actually, I picked it a couple of hours ago.
Okay, I was going to say you just picked
but it worked out so well. It worked out so well.
Well, you guys are going to love what we got cooked up for you later this episode. We actually did. We actually planned a little thing for you.
We did a little plan. A little thank you for all of you that have stuck around with this so much. I got to put in these entries. Let me look. Let's see. Joseph, Anna, Lady G. All right. Dale Glassmeyer. All right. Let me write all these down.
Yes.
The
Pacific. Oh, we don't care about spelling.
Yeah. Spelling. I'm not. We're not in spelling class right now. Usually I'm really into the whole proper spelling, but not tonight.
Usually I'm used to Usually they use me as a walking dictionary. Like, how do you
to be like that
all the time? How do you spell this? How do you spell that? I'm like,
yep.
A dictionary? Yes. Okay. You know how to spell it, don't you? Yeah.
When I was in prison, and I tell you that the people called me Google because we didn't have access to the internet. But if they wanted to know things, they would just come to me.
I never bring this up, but I was watching a video the other day of prison tech. Through prison tech, and oh my gosh,
it's wild.
It's crazy what they have access to and what they don't have access to. Obviously.
Oh yes, yep, and that's really changed even since I've been there because they brought in all kinds of different tech.
Yeah, I was
all the tablets and everything.
Yeah, full-on tablets with radios and radios that you have to figure out how to.
You have to pay for all access to everything.
That's what they said. Like sending an email costs like 35 cents or something.
Yep. Yeah, phone calls are usually 10 cents a minute at least, sometimes a quarter a minute. When I was in jail, the county jail, it was $1 a minute. It was so expensive.
Jeez. That's that for-profit prison industry.
Yeah, yeah.
Why not? Let's make.
But it's a whole company. It's a whole separate company from the prison. It's a whole company called JPay that have done all this. But anyway, I don't want to get into all that.
No. But that's the company. That's the name of the company that was doing the.
Yep. Yeah, they got it. it's in every prison. But yeah, so Hosh Swedish Chicks, Lady G, I got you in there. The Pacific, I got you in there. DL Glassmeyer, Anna Krasik, Joseph Tricoli, I got you all in there for the drawing. So stick around, and later tonight we will give away the 5
Is that it? Are we capping the entries as of right now?
Are
we gonna give them a few more minutes to say?
I'll give you like one or two more minutes to get them in there, and then I'm gonna cap. Now remember, if you win, you'll have to send me an email with all of your information so I can mail it to you. I know that's a big trust issue, send me your mailing address, but I promise you can trust me. Grendelson did it and all went well.
We send stuff back and forth.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, no worries. I'm in freaking, where do I live? I live in Los Angeles.
Right. But I'm not keeping your information. Like, I'll just need your address to send it to you, and then I will toss it out. I'm not keeping anybody's information or data or anything like that. I appreciate that, Joseph.
So if you win a later contest, you'll have to send it again.
Yeah, exactly. So
and we will have later contests. I've got one cooked up for the Nelsons. So
that's amazing.
We're gonna make this interactive. We're gonna make this fun, because it is
fun. Yes. And the email that you will if you do win, and I'll put this in the chat again later, is genxnatalie@gmail.com. You'll just in your email you'll give me your username and then your mailing address for your book. So, but we'll get to that later on. Tonight we are finishing up the 4th turning. Also, instead of reading The 4th Turning Is Here, because 4th Turning Is Here, which came out a couple of years ago, was written by Neil Howe. It's basically
without Strauss, because he died.
It was without Strauss. He died in 2006. But it's an updated version. It's basically an updated version of both Generations and The 4th Turning meshed into one. It's really big into the history and into their theory of the different turnings, and it goes into more detailed history of all the different 4th turnings that have happened. So it's a lot. We've already been doing Strauss and Howe since the beginning of the year. We're 7 months in, which is August now. So what we're going to do is tonight, what I did was I went ahead and clipped the chapter in The 4th Turning Is Here that is all about Gen X. And I clipped it from Audible. So we're going to listen to it tonight instead of watching an interview with him or whatever. We're going to listen to, and it's Neil Howe does the narration. Nice. So after we finish up The 4th Turning, we're going to listen to that chapter in The 4th Turning Is Here. And that will be the end of it. And then next week,
we're going to go back in time.
Yeah, to give me a couple of weeks to get all these Nelson books out and mailed out, and make sure everybody gets their book that won. So we're going to start Nelson on September 1st, which is a Tuesday. So September 1st will be the first week of Nelson. In between that, we're going to be in August, we're going to be doing 13th Gen, which is the book about Generation X written by Strauss and Howe. So this is the book about us. This is what defined us. This was before we were called Generation X. This is the book that came out that defined our generation, like with, different, different qualities. The post boomer, they were the first. Doug Copeland named us first, but he kind of identified that post boomer generation. But this was the first book that really went into defining us, and it was written in 1993. So it was right before Cobain left this mortal coil. And so that makes a big difference, though, when you think about it, because of, we've been going through the Electric Youth this summer, the 87 to 92. Well, this was written right in 93. So it's a very interesting time for a book defining us, the first one to come out, and right before grunge and all that. So that's what we're going to, it's a different kind of a book. It's not like a textbook or anything. It's a different kind of, but anyway, it's all about us. So that's what we're going to be reading in August.
What's the tagline under 13th Gen? I love that.
13th Gen, abort, retry, ignore, fail. So it's very computer tech.
Which for those of you who don't know.
Yes, that's a reference to computer files.
Early computing.
Yes, early
DOS
computing.
and Windows.
Yes.
3.1.
Right. So there's but it also has bigger meanings on the grand scale for our generation. So it's a very clever title, to be honest with you. It's it can mean a couple of different things. So yay, there you go. That's what we're gonna be reading in August. So let's go ahead and get to the fourth turning. What do you say? Let's end this book from 1997 that just really is amazing when you think about it. Oh, whoops. Huh?
Where are we in the book?
Where are we? We are in the very last chapter, chapter 12, The Eternal Return.
Oh, okay, good. That's what I thought.
Yep, this is the very, very end of the book, the last couple of pages. Let's see, make sure I got all of
the Eternal Return.
The Eternal Return. So this is the end.
Let me read this.
We're gonna read the whole thing because it's only like 3 pages long, and then we'll wrap it up.
Can I read the first part?
You can read the first part. Go for it.
The Eternal Return. On the earthen floors of their rounded hogans, Navajo artists sift colored sand to depict the 4 seasons of life and time. Their ancestors have been doing this for centuries. They draw these sand circles in counterclockwise progression, 1 quadrant at a time, with decorative icons for the challenges of each age and season. When they near the end of the 4th season, they stop the circle, leaving a small gap just to the right of its top. This signifies the moment of death and rebirth, what the Hellenics called the epkuriosis. By Navajo custom, this moment can be provided, and the circle closed, only by God, and never by mortal man. All the artist can do is rub out the painting in reverse seasonal order, after which a new circle can begin. Thus, in the Navajo tradition, the seasonal time stage its eternal return. You go.
Very nice. Very nice. You want to keep going, or you want me to do it?
No, you go.
Okay. All right. Like most traditional peoples, the Navajo accept not just the circularity of life, but also its perpetuity. Each generation knows its ancestors have drawn similar circles in the sand, and each expects its heirs to keep drawing them. The Navajo ritually reenact the past while anticipating the future. Thus do they transcend time.
I love this in the beginning. I like this beginning because it really boils down to, hey, by the way, this isn't new. People have been doing this stuff for ages. So listen up.
Right. Yeah. This isn't something we just cooked up for fun on a weekend while we're out drinking or something.
Sitting around drinking and doing some cocaine.
Right. Like there's some roots in history and other cultures and other
some research.
Yeah, exactly. Boy, did they do the research. The last 50 pages of this book is just acknowledgments and bibliography.
Thank God.
Modern societies too often reject circles for straight lines between starts and finishes. Believers in linear progress, we feel the need to keep moving forward. The more we endeavor to defeat nature, the more profoundly we land at the mercy of its deeper rhythms. Unlike the Navajo, we cannot withstand the temptation to try closing the circle ourselves in the matter of our own liking. Yet we cannot avoid history's last quadrant. We cannot avoid the 4th turning, nor its epicrosis. Whether we welcome him or not, the great champion will command our duty and sacrifice in a moment of crisis. Whether we... Crap.
No, you're all right.
All right. Okay. All right. I've had such problems. I'm about to drop Spectrum and go to Starlink because I'm having so many internet problems. But anyways, okay. Yet we cannot avoid history's last quadrant. We cannot avoid the 4th turning, nor its epicrosis. Whether we welcome him or not, the great champion will command our duty and sacrifice at a moment of crisis. Whether we prepare wisely or not, we will complete the millennial seculum. The epic that began with VJ Day will reach a natural climax and come to an end. An end of what? The next 4th turning could mark the end of man. It could be an omnicidal Armageddon, destroying everything, leaving nothing. If mankind ever extinguishes itself, this will probably happen when its dominant civilization triggers a 4th turning that ends horribly. But this end, while possible, is not likely. Human life is not so easily extinguishable. One conceit of linear thinking is the confidence that we possess such godlike power that at the mere push of a button we can obliterate nature, destroy our own seed, and make ourselves the final generations of our species. Civilized post-Neolithic man has endured some 500 generations. Prehistoric fire-using man, perhaps 5,000 generations. And Homo erectus, 10 times that. For the next fourth turning to put an end to all of this would require an extremely unlikely blend of social disaster, human malevolence, technological perfection, and bad luck. Only the worst pessimist can imagine that. The fourth turning could mark the end of modernity, the Western secular rhythm, which began in the mid-15th century with the Renaissance, could come to an abrupt terminus. The seventh modern seculum would be the last. This too could come from total war, terrible but not final. There could be a complete collapse of science, culture, politics, and society. The Western civilization of Toynbee and the Faustian culture of Spengler would come to the inexorable close. Their prophesy. Man, these words are difficult. Okay, hold on. Yeah, prophesiers foresaw. Would come to the inexorable close their prophesiers foresaw. Okay. A new dark ages would settle in until some new civilization could be cobbled together from the ruins. The cycle of generations would also end, replaced by an ancient cycle of tradition and fixed social roles for each phase of life that would not allow progress. As with an omnicide, such a dire result would probably happen only when a dominant nation, like today's America, lets a fourth turning epicrosis engulf the planet. But this outcome is well within the reach of foreseeable technology and malevolence.
Yeah, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that bad, but who knows?
And again, I am seriously starting to see some optimism rising.
Yeah.
I mean, it's August. There are a gazillion tourists here right now in LA.
Yeah.
More than I have seen in past since the pandemic.
Really?
Yeah. I've never seen so many tourists here since the pandemic. So
wow.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. People in the United States maybe not as may not have as much spending funds because everything's so inflated. Yeah, San Diego too. Yeah, well, yeah, San Diego last week.
Right.
But still, I think tourism from Europe is going to bolster our economy quite a bit. And I think that we're going to come out of this malaise that we're in because things are getting better. And, again, I'm not taking the political side here. We're not doing that. I'm the optimist. I want to, no matter how I feel about our particular government, I want to believe that our government has the best interests of the people at heart, no matter what.
Right.
And that smarter minds will prevail, as I have said from day one. Mm-hmm. Smarter people are out there helping us. So I have a lot of optimism right now, and I'm really, really strongly encouraging people to try to be optimists.
Right.
What's that?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I was watching a recent interview with Neil Howe, and he said that he was a short-term pessimist, but a long-term optimist. Like, for short-term, he's like, things could get really nasty, but for the long-term, I think we're going to get through it, and we're going to be okay. But it's just going to be a little nasty for a few years. Yeah. So
I think the nastiness, I think it's behind us. I really do.
Well, I hope you're right.
I really do. I think the nastiness is behind us. I think that there's going to be a lot more coming together over the next couple of years. And I think that I really hope and I really think that the two sides are going to come together closer rather than keep being pushed farther apart. Because I don't think they can be pushed much farther apart. So, I think it has to. We all know the political science ball is a ball. It's circular. Everything comes around, and it's going to happen. Anyway,
I think we're gonna learn a lot from the midterm election and the next presidential election.
They're shaping up to be so interesting right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, and also,
I don't even know what's going on. Is Mitch alive? I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? But for me, for the perspective of this book, the midterm of 26 and the presidential election of 28 and 32 is the generational change. Is the boomers, and the boomers are going away, and the Xers and millennials will be fully in power by 2032. So that's what I'm kind of looking at, and how that looks. Who knows?
Well, I think one thing is that the not for nothing, but the leadership in the Democratic Party is a bunch of old boomers who don't know how to get out of their own way. And
same in the Republican Party. I mean, it feels like it's all the parties are just still led by boomers. And when we listen to The Fourth Turning Is Here, which was written a couple of years ago about the Gen X chapter, he talks about this, about the how we are, Gen X is the least engaged generation in politics and civic affairs that have ever been. The only one that contends with us is the lost generation from the early 20th century. So like we are just we have been disengaged our whole lives from politics. And but anyway, we'll get into that when we get into that chapter. But yeah, I think, it's just going to be a generational handoff and a generational change. And will the next generations accept what the boomers have handed over, or will they just obliterate it? And like, are we done with this post World War II era of economics and foreign policy and all of this, or are we going to just take what they've done and just kind of tweak it, or are we just going to be like, F this, we're going in a totally different way? Like we're gonna make some big changes.
I think the big changes side is going to win out, because I don't think anyone wants to go back to, post World War II, lifestyles. I mean, I know some people really do, but most people don't.
There was a lot of great things from that first turning, though. That, I mean, there are things that you can take from first turning. If you were a white male. Well, I don't want to get into all that. There are things about society that can get better and change, and yes, but I think the biggest, again, we keep going back to it, I think the economics part of it is what's really going to be a big thing, because the way our monetary system works and the way that we do things, and inflation's gotten so high, supply chains, the way the global economy, I just think that we're gonna have to see a retraction of that and a change of that, which is part of the post World War II order.
There's going to be some consolidation in the supply chains, because we have seen where the weaknesses are, and they're going to, and I know the supply chain folks, logistics folks, are already working on solving those issues, so that they don't have the same stuff that happened like in the port of San Pedro a couple of years ago. And I know that they are taking some stock of what happened with COVID and why it happened, and they are working actively to mitigate that in the future.
Yeah.
Whether or not they're going to succeed, I don't know. I don't think so. Who knows? But people are working on it, and they are.
Yeah. I mean, this is we are in the process of a major shift in things, and we're going to be going through that for the next 4 to 6 years before I think we find, according to this theory, until we land on, getting past the crisis and into the first turning, whatever that looks like. But the generational change, I think, is what I'm more intrigued about. Not necessarily, which side of things. It's more of who become, which generations come out on, as who are the next leaders. I mean, our whole lives have been dominated by boomers. Our whole lives, from the politicians to the pop culture to the everything. And it's like, I want to, can we get something new?
I know. I'm tired of hearing the 60s were the greatest decade ever.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. I'm tired of hearing, God, you really should have been you should have been alive in 1969. Yeah. I would love to have been alive in 1969. Okay. I wasn't. I was -2. Thank you very much. Yeah.
That was a long ass time ago, and most of the world was not there.
No.
All right.
Woodstock, yeah.
The fourth turning could spare modernity, but mark the end of our nation. It could close the book on the political constitution, popular culture, and moral standing that the word America has come to signify. This nation has endured for 3 secula. Rome lasted 12. Etruria 10, the Soviet Union perhaps only 1. Fourth turnings are critical thresholds. Yeah. The fourth turnings are critical thresholds for national survival. Each one of the last 3 American crises produced moments of extreme danger. In the Revolution, the very birth of the Republic hung by a thread in more than one battle. In the Civil War, the Union barely survived a 4-year slaughter that in its own time was regarded as the most lethal war in history. In World War II, the nation destroyed an enemy of democracy that for a time was winning. Had the enemy won, America might have itself been destroyed. In all likelihood, the next crisis will present the nation with a threat and a consequence on a similar scale.
God, I hope not, because if it follows, that means that the first part of whatever it is is really gonna suck.
Yeah.
Because let's not forget the Revolution, the Civil War, and World War II. We were losing all. Well, not we. The side that won was losing all those fights.
Yeah, it was. You know, it was rough
in the beginning. It was rough. The Revolution was rough for the first 2 years.
All of it. Yeah, I mean, each one of them had their destructive factors on so many different things on our country and on our population, and the amount of in each one of them, the amount of people that were killed in these conflicts, and the thousands, if not millions, and all over the place, and how that changes things, and the generations that get the hardest, the ones that give the orders, and the ones that fight the wars, and all this stuff. So I mean, and we're there again, and it's
you want to talk about boomers in boomers in Russia? Yeah, 15 million of their GIs were killed during the war. So
in World War II, in World War II, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
World
War II boom. Soviet Union lost 15 million men.
15 million.
Yeah, which was far more than any other country besides Germany, I think.
Yeah.
And actually, I think it was more than Germany. And they lost, like a quarter of their male population.
Right. Yeah, it's just wild, and and now we're, who knows? Hopefully, I mean, it's been different every time, from Revolution to Civil to World War II. There's nuance to each one. There's differences to each one, and we're gonna have something along those lines. But again, there'll be nuance.
It's a cultural Cold War, is what we've been fighting. It's the cultural Cold War that we've now been fighting since, I would probably say, Reagan.
Yeah.
When Reagan came in as president, I think the lines really became split between Democrats and Republicans. But fortunately, the smarter people in Congress were able to actually get good, legislation done during that time period. But ever since Bush won, we have just seen that split in the parties to the point where it's,
and it's all been dominated by boomers. Always this massive generation. Their generation split, in a lot of ways, and it was crazy, boomers.
But we love the boomers. Don't forget,
we still love them. We still love them. Absolutely.
I still love you, Mom.
So we've had total human destruction down to our nation ending, or another option. The fourth turning could simply mark the end of the millennial seculum. Mankind, modernity, and America would all persevere. Afterward, there would be a new mood, a new high, and a new seculum. America would be reborn, but reborn it would not be the same. So this is probably where this is what we're hoping for.
Right. We don't need, like, I think one of the big problems is that we're always we are too afraid of the future. We are too worried about what's going to happen rather than what is actually happening. And I think sometimes we as a people, we kind of become short-sighted in that manner. And we get all wrapped up in our own fears about what could happen, when most of the time it doesn't.
Right. So, a lot of it feels like, ever since we got into the 21st century, it's like we have this feeling of like we're in the future, if that makes sense. Like
100%. I felt like we've been. I say this all the time. We live in the future. I live in the future.
We live in the future. So if we live in the future, what does that mean for our futures. Like what, like is there more to discover? Is there more to change? Is there more, or like how do you, if you're always in a linear mind of thinking, like where do you go from here?
Out of that that what they're saying, I think, is flat out linear thinking. As Mr. Spock would say in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, Khan's linear thinking indicates a two-dimensional level of thinking.
Oh,
space is 3 dimensions. That's why they kill him, because they go up and down. But seriously, we got to not be so afraid of the future, and we got to think. It's a cycle of rebirth. It's a cycle, and
right.
Yes, the future is not going to be the same as today, but today is not the same as the past. So
right.
You can't go back. You cannot go back. That's why I'm
well,
like, nostalgia is.
Can't.
I love nostalgia. I will wallow in it as much as anybody else, but nostalgia is a killer of progress.
Yes.
Period.
There has to be a balance between nostalgia and tradition and all
Hard
of that.
To say that
and
nostalgia channel, but it's.
I know, right? Well, that's
true. I mean,
that's where I land.
There's no. That's what I'm not saying, that there's no purpose for it. There's no place for it. Obviously.
No, there is. You have to have like I'm saying, there's a balance. There's you got to have respect for the past, the nostalgia, the traditions, the things, the things that have been figured out that you can, rely on and bring into the future. But yes, you've got to have, a look towards the future, a look of building, a look of building, of creating, of moving forward. So, but going to either extreme is not good either. And it's but when I say it's the future, what I mean, like growing up, all of these futuristic sci-fi novels of technology and all of this stuff, and even
the Jetsons,
Star
Trek, Lost in Space, all these things promised us a brighter, technologically advanced, super future. And, we have Waymos, and we have phones, we have computers in our pocket. We're all connected all the time. Everybody has a camera.
Right. Now the question becomes, what does that mean for humans when you have technology to do all of these things for you, to do all of these things that humans used to do, all of these skills that we used to have? What does that mean for humanity moving forward when you have tech doing a lot of those things that humans have done for themselves up until now?
We live in a cyberpunk future, and the more you realize that, the better off you'll be. Because the cyberpunk future sucks. Go back to the Romancer. I am, because we're getting a new TV series. I just got it again. I just bought a brand new copy. But seriously, I mean, we were given all of these beautiful glimpses of the technological future that was supposed to happen, and it's here, and it's great.
Yay! Kind of, yeah. All right, let's keep moving here. The new seculum could find America a worse place. As Paul Kennedy has warned, it might no longer be a great power. Its global stature might be eclipsed by foreign rivals. Its geography might be smaller. Its culture less dominant. Its military less effective. Its government less democratic. Its constitution less inspiring. Emerging from its millennial chrysalis, it might evoke nothing like the hope and respect of its American-century forebear. Abroad, people of goodwill and civilized taste might perceive this society as a newly dangerous place, or they might see it as decayed, antiquated, an old new world less central to human progress than we now are. All this is plausible and possible in the natural turning of secular time.
Not only is it plausible, it's happening.
Yeah. Yep. Oh. Alternatively, the new seculum could find America and the world a much better place. Like England in the Reformation seculum, the superpower America of the millennial seculum might merely be a prelude to a higher plane of civilization. Its new civic life might more nearly resemble that shining city on a hill to which colonial ancestors aspired. Its ecology might be freshly repaired and newly sustainable. its economy rejuvenated, its politics functional and fair, its media elevated in tone, its culture creative and uplifting, its gender and race relations improved, its commonalities embraced and differences accepted, its institutions free of the corruptions that today seem entrenched beyond correction. People might enjoy new realms of personal, family, community, and national fulfillment. America's borders might be redrawn around an altered but more cogent geography of public community. Its influence on world peace could be more potent, on world culture more inspiring. All this is achievable as well. There's so many options.
I want all of that.
I know.
I want all of that. That sounds good. Can we have that, please? Please?
All of these different things are possible, and it's going to be determined over these next 5 or 6 years which way it goes. Woo, woo, woo. But there's a bunch of different possibilities. If the fourth turning ends triumphantly, much of the modern world may follow the same secular rhythm and share in the same secular triumph. And if that happens, many might hope that the world could achieve an end of history, a destination for mankind that Francis Fukuyama describes with summary as an end of wars and bloody revolutions, in which, agreeing on ends, men would have no large causes for which to fight.
Right.
Yeah, that's not happening. Is such an outcome possible? Probably not. No, it's not. A fourth turning triumph of such colossal dimensions is much more likely to produce a very magnificent but very impermanent first turning. The seculum would endure. Indeed, the more magnificent the high, the more powerful would be resulting generational tectonics. The millennials would be resplendent and expansively hubristic as world-shaping heroes. Young prophets would later trigger an awakening to match, and the circle would continue. We should not feel limited, but rather empowered by the knowledge that the fourth turning's epicrosis can have such decisive consequences. How do we feel like that? We should not feel limited, but empowered to know that it can go any one of these ways. There's so many different ways it should be empowered.
I don't feel limited. I feel worried.
Yes,
I'm
definitely.
More than anything, I've realized for a long time that there's two vastly different outcomes for this. Well, there's more than two, but there's two big different outcomes of positive and negative for this unraveling and this turning. And God, obviously, we want it to be a more positive one, knowing that yes, there's going to be some serious changes that are going to affect all of us.
Yeah. And it's not going to feel good sometimes. It's going to hurt at times.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, anytime you change anything economically or societally or anything, I mean, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be fun at all times.
So many possible timelines to follow.
Yep, so many.
I'm watching a show right on that now. It's called Dark Matter. It's on Apple. And boy, is that show creepy.
Creepy.
Oh, my gosh. Really good. Jennifer Connelly's in it.
Oh, well, man.
And she looks amazing.
Does she? Well, she's like the Gen X queen of crushes, I swear.
Well, she looks amazing. She's playing multiple versions of her character.
Cool.
It's a great show. I highly recommend it. It's called Dark Matter. It's on Apple. Season 2 is coming out within the next couple of weeks. So you've got, only one season to catch up on.
Cool. All right, let's keep going.
Possibilities.
I like that kind of stuff.
Oh, it's great.
We should not feel limited, but rather empowered by this knowledge. But lending structure to life and time, the seculum makes human history all the more purposeful. A belief in foreseeable seasons and perceptible rhythms can inspire a society or an individual to do great things that might otherwise seem pointless. There is nothing ethically inhibiting in the notion that our behavior is, in some fundamental sense, a reenactment of the past. To the contrary, the ancients understood that to participate in cyclical time is to bear the responsibility for participating well or badly. I love that. Were history pure chaos, every expression of human will could be undone at any time. Were there no intelligible connection between past intention and future result, we could do nothing to assist our children or posterity. We might as well drain the treasury, ruin the atmosphere, ravage the culture, and consume the seed corn of civilization.
Yeah, we've been doing that pretty good.
Yeah, right. Were history purely linear, humanity would also find itself degraded. Even the most noble of societies would become no more than a means to an end. Generations not present at the end of time would become mere building blocks, their members mere sacrifices on the altar of progress. Along the great highway of history, nothing would be eternal. The only free choice anyone might make would be to speed or slow a foreordained juggernaut. As linear history develops ever narrower standards of perfection, any generation not measuring up to that standard must look on itself and be looked on by others as a bad seed, useless to humanity except as a source of harm. The same would be true for any individual. Recent Western experiments with totalitarian regimes provide an object lesson. Societies that deify history's destination typically have no respect for the moral autonomy of the people making the journey. And that's I think that goes back to what we were talking about earlier with respect for traditions in the past and nostalgia and history. But you can't be too focused on the goal, or else, yeah, everybody else behind you is just pointless. So, but I like that. I like that. All of that. When history is viewed as seasonal, by contrast, each generation can discover its own path across time, its own meaningful linkage to ancestors and heirs. Whoever we are, GIs, silent, boomers, 13ers, or millennials, we can locate our rendezvous with destiny, seize our script, make of it what we can, and evaluate our performance against the legendary myths and traditional standards of civilization. The seasons of time offer no guarantees. For modern societies, no less than for all forms of life, transformative change is discontinuous. For what seems an eternity, history goes nowhere, and then it suddenly flings us forward across some vast chaos that defies any moral effort to plan our way there. The fourth turning will try our souls, and the secular rhythm tells us that much will depend on how we face up to that trial. The seculum does not reveal whether the story will have a happy ending, but it does tell us how and when our choices will make a difference.
Want to read this next part?
Yes, please.
Over the last century, the faith in progress has suffered many blows, perhaps none so devastating as Friedrich Nietzsche's early and devastating critique. Nietzsche believed that delusions about never-ending progress towards an unattainable standard had become a root malady of the Western psyche. This delusion, he believed, constituted a cruel vehicle of self-loathing, a spawning ground for hypocrisy, and a cage around the authentic human spirit. His invented prophet, Zarathustra, identifies the problem as the spirit of revenge against time and it was, meaning a resentment against history itself, against a one-way pilgrimage whose lofty goals keep proving mankind's actual condition to be one of the contemptible insignificance. As an alternative, Zarathustra teaches the doctrine that every event is perpetually reenacted and that everything anyone does has been done before and will be done again forever. Every act, therefore, becomes an end in itself as well as a means to an end. Zarathustra calls this the eternal return, the opportunity afforded everyone to share fully in what it means to be a human being. The seculum provides the same opportunity, regardless of generation. Every person who lives into deep old age experiences each of the four seasons of life once, and each of the four turnings of history once. The intersection of these two quaternarities does more than just make our own generation unique among the living. It bonds us with every fourth generation that came before or will come after. We reenact the legends of our ancestors, just as our progeny will someday reenact our own. Through this, the depth and breadth of human spirit expresses itself and endures over time.
That's amazing. I love this so much. It just puts things into perspective. It puts this whole book into perspective, and also it's just, it bonds me to my generation more than ever. And I didn't think I could be bonded to Gen X more than I already am. But
especially since you identify as an Xennial.
Yeah. Well, I consider an Xennial to be part of Gen X.
You're still Gen X, babe. You're still Gen X.
Yeah.
We count you.
But yeah, but I just, to my fellow age cohort, that this makes so much sense as to why I connect so much with the people that are my age or, around my age. And, and this theory makes sense. And all the the fourth generations before us and the ones that are coming after us. It's all connected throughout time and history. And I love that. It's so much more fun to look at history and life in cycles instead of linearly. It makes more sense. It makes so much more sense.
And as they said on Battlestar Galactica, all of this has happened before and it will all happen again.
Yes. Absolutely.
Oh yes, Demolition Man is one of our favorite future movies. We love the three shells. We love all restaurants at Taco Bell.
It's actually going to be the Monday night movie on Discord this coming Monday. Demolition Man.
Nice.
We're watching it.
Oh, I love that movie. I keep trying to turn into Mondays, but I always forget. So
I'm on there every night.
I even forgot the member stream this week.
Yeah, you did. I felt hurt. And you missed the big you missed the big announcement because we're not doing monthly Sunday member streams anymore. I'm doing a special member hour before the Friday night live stream every week. So that's going to be and we're going to do a member TV show on Thursdays, but we can talk more about that later. But yeah.
Dang. Ooh, big news. I did miss all that good stuff.
Yeah, you missed a lot. Yeah, because so many people, Sunday's just not a good. Yeah, a lot of people were, and Sunday's just not a good night for them. I mean, I just don't get a lot of members that can tune in. So I wanted to try to do something on different days that members could enjoy and not have to worry about.
Sunday is the Lord's Day. Everybody goes to church.
It is the Lord's Day. And Taco Bell. I'm gonna have to do Taco Bell on Monday because my Pizza Hut closed. So, so it'll be Taco Bell night for me. Depending on what country you were in, it was either Taco Bell or Pizza Hut. That movie. So
was it Pizza Hut overseas? Really?
Yeah, it was. It depended on the country that you were in. Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that the San Angeles Police Force was the Comic-Con building in San Diego. Comic-Con. And literally, they had just started doing Comic-Con when that movie came out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's right. What Comic-Con started? What, late 80s, early?
Well,
90s?
No. Comic-Con started in the 70s.
Oh, it sounds 70s.
They had just moved to that big convention center where they're still at. They moved there in I think 90 or 91. It was the 2 years I didn't go. But
gotcha.
Yeah, they just had moved in there in 93 when Demolition Man came out.
Cool. So yeah, that's our Monday movie over on the Discord. So if you'd like to watch it with me, Monday night's your chance. I do stuff on Discord every night of the week except for Tuesdays, which was of course book club. But over on the Discord every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, we watch TV shows and movies. It's kind of fun.
No, all right. They never did say how the three shells were used, and it's it's one of those. That's one of those things that we should not know. Like what Penny's last name is on The Big Bang Theory, and who shot Kennedy.
Yeah.
And where Jimmy Hoffa is buried.
Yeah. Okay, back to the book. We're almost done. We're almost done with this really long book. Linear time tempts us moderns to believe that we are immeasurably better or contemptibly worse than our ancestors. By appealing to our pride or despair, undirectional history relieves us of the challenge of proving ourselves worthy of their example. Yet relieved of the challenge, we are also relieved of the fulfillment. Commenting on the manners of Rome during the early empire, the great historian Tacitus disagreed with moralists who argued that the civic virtue of a great society can only change in one direction. Indeed, it may well be that there is a kind of cycle in human affairs, he wrote, and that morals alternate as do the seasons. Ancient times were not always better. Our generation, too, has produced many examples of honorable and civilized behavior for posterity to copy. One must hope this praiseworthy competition with our ancestors may long endure. And 2 millennia after Tacitus, so must we share this hope. Each of us communicates across a vast reach of time. Think back to your childhood. Recall the oldest person who influenced your life. Maybe a grandparent, maybe an elderly neighbor. The distance between that person's birth year and the present is your memory span back in time. Now go in the other direction. Project the probable lifespan of the youngest person whose life you will someday influence. Most likely your youngest grandchild. If you are young, assume that at age 35 you will bear your last child, who also will bear a last child at 35, who in turn live to be 85. The years between the present day and your last grandchild's death mark your memory span forward. Now, Add these two periods together to calculate your total memory span, linking the lives of those who touched you with the lives of those who will be touched by you. For the authors of this book, the spans extend from 1881 to 2104, Strauss, and from 1888 to 2114, Howe. 223 and 226 years, respectively. That's longer than the American nation has been in existence at the time of writing this book. The memory spans of long-lived members of the Gilded Generation, John D. Rockefeller, Mother Jones, Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr., extended from before the American Revolution through the present day. A child born in 1997 will anchor a memory span reaching from around the 1930s to the 2150s, a future remote beyond comprehension. Or is it? When you think of time seasonally in terms of turnings, those vast spans of time become comprehensible, meaningful, shared. No matter what your age or generation, you knew or will know loved ones whose lives will cross nearly 3 full secula. Together, you will experience 3 fourth turnings, 3 crises, and 3 epicroses. A memory span of this length is a fundamental advantage on history that you share with all Americans who ever lived or ever will live. It connects you personally with the ebb and flow of the lives of remembered ancestors. It acquaints you with the lives of your own children and grandchildren are likely to lead. If the seculum continues, a girl born today will come of age just before the fourth turning's crisis climax, enter midlife during the ensuing high, and reach old age during awakening. In all likelihood, she will live to glimpse another unraveling. If health and history treat her well, she could, as a centenarian, witness another crisis catalyzed on the eve of the 22nd century. She will have much to tell her youngest grandson, who, if he survives that circa 2100 crisis, can teach the seculum's lessons to his own grandson, who in time could grow old as another in a long line of great champions. Perhaps that latter grandson will become a late 22nd century historian who will write a complete chronicle of American civilization, which by then will stretch back over 10 secula. Come the 2190s, he will be as far away from the 1990s as we today are from George Washington's presidency. Every school child will know what happened next, from the 00s to the 2020s, as the fourth turning unfolded. But academics will surely debate how and why it came to pass. In his history, this great-great-grandson of today's baby girl will reflect on what the fourth turning came to mean for his own time and generation. His history is not yet written. What will it be? To everything there is a season, a time to every purpose under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die. A time to die, a time to plant, a time to plug up what is planted, a time to heal, a time to break down, a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. Ecclesiastes 3:1-8.
And also the birds.
Yes. But first the Bible.
Okay, sure. And they were paraphrasing, and it wasn't David Crosby's best work, but okay.
And there you have it, guys. That is The Fourth Turning by William Strauss and Neil Howe from 1997.
And sick bow, we did it. We finished
the
whole book.
We did it.
Okay, if you got them, light them.
It's real, yeah. you wanna encore, do you?
Yeah. Hell yeah, I can do that. We still have lighters, man.
That's right. We're Gen Xers.
We're Gen Xers. We actually even bring them to club show.
You're right. So that's The Fourth Turning. If you guys are interested in reading The Fourth Turning, it is here. It is available on Audible. It is available wherever books are sold. And we are going to listen to the very first part of the Gen X thing tonight. Or maybe all of it. Who knows? We're only an hour in. But oh, great! So glad you enjoyed it, Anna.
How are you guys all feeling about The Fourth Turning? I want to hear.
I want to hear from.
Let's get some comments in the chat. Let's come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna hear from you guys.
Talk about San Diego. We like that. I love San Diego. I could talk about San Diego all night, but let's talk about the fourth turning and how are
Yeah.
we feeling about the actual fourth turning now that we know what it is, what's coming. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, but how are we
Right.
feeling about the actual events coming up? What do you guys
Right.
think? I mean,
And
we've
how do you
said,
feel about
you
this
know what
book?
I'm hoping for. I think you know,
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I think Natalie, you're hoping for the same stuff, but I think you're probably a little more pessimistic than I am.
Yeah.
Right, rightfully so.
Right.
You know, because I know I'm like sometimes I will get to be Miss Pollyanna.
It happens. I'm a lot like
It has to
Neil
be.
Howe. I'm not like Neil Howe with I'm pessimistic about the near future, but I'm optimistic about our nation's future and our culture and our society's future, down the road. I believe there will be a first turning and we're going to get there. I don't think we're going to annihilate the planet. I don't think of any of
No.
that, but
No.
I think that I honestly think that our nation and our culture is in a crisis, and we're
Yes.
trying to figure it out. And it's going to be, these next 4 to 6 years are going to be rough. And but I still love my fellow Americans, and I still love this country. And
As
I
do
hope,
I don't want
you know,
anyone
I,
coming off thinking I don't love this country. Oh, I have a wild Gen Zer in the back. I don't love this country, that I'm not patriotic, or that, I'm not. I am definitely loving this country. I love the Constitution of this United States of America. I love the history of this country, good and bad. And I just want everybody to be as happy as they possibly can be without hurting anybody else. You know what I mean?
Right. 100%. Yeah. And I want us to get all this stuff figured out, as to our, where we're moving as a country, what we are, what we value, what we don't, and get this figured out. So we can get through this next fourth turning. And I hope it's done without violence.
Yeah, I do too.
And
I really don't.
I'm hopeful.
I think if there is any violence, that's going to be limited, because I think that once people see that people are willing to go towards violent ends, that will close the door on the violence. I think people won't tolerate the violence as much anymore, especially if it's I mean, I don't even know what kind of violence we could have, but I mean, if it's right. Simply, person against person, that is not going to that's not going to fly.
No, it's not.
Versus neighbor, it's not going to fly, and that's, I think, probably what's going to end up happening more than anything is that you're just going to see more individual one-on-one, melees, between people who just don't get along and can't, and can't get along with each other.
Right. I'm also worried about governments against its own people, and not just in the United States, but in Europe and many different Western countries that I'm familiar with. So that kind of violence scares me.
Not familiar with, or the ones that you really should be afraid of.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know about that. You don't want to.
Right. And it's
most of Europe is pretty laid back at this point.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of problems going on there. There's a lot of problems going on here.
Oh yeah, but I mean, again, the problem, like, France has had a racial problem for decades now. And it's even more ingrained because you have people who are just literally unwilling to have any immigration whatsoever because they want to keep the country as French as possible.
Right.
And, that's, I don't even know where to come out on that side because it's not my country.
Right.
I don't really have an opinion other than a humanistic one.
In a general sense, I think that's the biggest issue is just the migration and the movement of people. Our countries are changing, things are changing, people are moving, cultures are mixing, and that has an effect one way or the other, and I think that is probably what we're going to be a big thing that we're going to have to figure out on this stuff, because you have your states and your countries and your people that want their own cultures, their own countries, the way it's been or whatever, and some people want it to change. And so I think that's a big issue that we're going to have to sort out to get through to the first turning. But yeah, so there you have it, and there you are, the fourth turning by Neil Howe and William Strauss. I thoroughly enjoyed that, and it's amazing how right they got a lot of things, and how their theories turned out to be very prescient, and yeah, so there you have it, and there you are. You guys ready to hear a little bit of the Gen X section of The Fourth Turning is Here? This was written by Neil Howe a couple of years ago.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it to it. Alrighty, let me get that.
Let's do it.
Stop that there. I gotta share my screen here. Alrighty. We're gonna have no TV cart today. We're listening to a podcast. But yeah, we're gonna listen to this, and we're obviously we're gonna have to stop it and discuss and talk about things as we go, because I can't just sit and play it. But all right, let's do this. This is Gen X in Midlife from The Fourth Turning is Here. This is Neil Howe reading his own words. Here we go.
Gen X in Midlife. Generation X, born 1961 to 1981, today comprises roughly 85 million adults, mainly in their 40s and 50s. Their first wave, born in the...
Oh, that's going to give you a playback.
Can you guys hear that okay? Is the volume bad? Can you hear it?
I couldn't, but...
Oh, you couldn't hear it? Can anybody else hear it?
I was trying to. Let's try again.
You're trying? Yeah. Anybody? Is that volume coming through? Yep. 50s is midlife.
Yes, 50s
that is correct.
Yeah,
so what was
the 85 is the lifespan? So
yeah, 40s and 50s it's considered midlife. Yep. It sounds a bit muffled. Okay. All right. Let me try this.
And in the meantime, we'll then. 50s is midlife. I'm 55. 1971 born. Ugh.
Can you hear that better? Couldn't hear that?
I can't
Couldn't hear
anything.
anything?
No.
Well, son of a nutcracker. All right. Well, maybe we'll let the projector cart. Well, if we can't hear, that's not good.
I couldn't hear it at all.
Couldn't hear it at all. I could hear it just fine. I don't know what you guys are having a problem with. Okay.
Try one more time.
We'll try one more time. Let's see how it goes. Hold on.
In the early 90s,
there we
they
go.
got their name from a 1961-born British Columbian, Doug Copeland, who wrote a sardonic novel drawing a deep divide between his own circle of friends and the boomers who had come along just before them. The Xers' last wave, born in 1980 and 1981, were the last teens to graduate from high school before the bursting of the dot-com bubble. Prequel, Keeping It Real. The iconic Time cover image, July 16th, 1990, evokes what older Americans first thought about this next generation, and more importantly, what Xers thought about themselves. Unsmiling, black-clad youths in a dimly lit room, maybe a prison cell, are gazing without expression in different directions, apparently unaware of each other's presence. Overshadowed by the baby boomers, the tagline asks, are these kids laid back, late blooming, or just lost? 20 years earlier, the media liked to show ebullient youth standing on a hillside teaching the world to sing. So went the Coca-Cola ad. No longer. These baby busters were typically shown as tough, wary, untrusting, maybe a bit traumatized.
So that's the huge difference between the way they marketed to boomers and their youth. I like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. That was the Coke ad of the 1970s. And then by the 90s, with our stuff, it was all dark, all completely different. So they're describing a magazine cover with asking about what's wrong with this generation in 1990. So there was a big difference between the two generations.
Gen Xers first arrived as toddlers in the early 1960s, when the watchful, if increasingly indulgent parenting style enjoyed by boomer kids transitioned into something approaching hands-off neglect. As the awakening exploded and adults of all ages sought to find themselves, institutions that once protected kids no longer seemed to work. Schools were breaking down, families were breaking up, and a new invention, no-fault divorce, proved spectacularly popular. What's more, starting in the early 60s, adults no longer wanted more kids, making Xers the first babies people took pills not to have, and signaling a sudden end of the post-war demographic baby boom. By the early 70s, total fertility had plunged beneath its previous Depression-era low. Teachers and parents were widely urged, Pink Floyd style, to give up trying to protect or structure children's lives. The Bill Cosby parent as fallible pal model prevailed. G-rated films nearly disappeared, and the Brooke Shields and Jodie Foster tween sexploitation film was born.
I really didn't think much about this until we started reading these books about how the pop culture for us as children changed, because he said G movies disappeared, and in the 70s and 80s, he's right. Those, because Disney went dark. Disney went crazy dark. It went from Cinderella and Dumbo and Snow White and all that stuff to like, Return to Witch Mountain kind of stuff. And then like all of your young, Pretty Baby, the Brooke Shields movie, and then Taxi Driver with Jodie Foster, and like all of these, like the portrayal of kids just really changed and in our lifetime. And I was not aware of that, obviously, until now, how much that changed. Blue Lagoon, that's another one. It's like
the
sexploitation films.
Jeez Louise.
So like all of these like young teen sexploitation films of the late 70s, early 80s. But yeah, just how kids were treated so differently in media, and all of the family stuff. About the only place that family entertainment remained was pretty much on television.
Disney Sunday night.
Yeah. But
the Disney Sunday night movie where we watched all of your video.
Yes. Absolutely. So Return to Oz. Yeah.
Oh my God, that movie. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like that movie a lot because Fairuza Balk.
But it was wild. Yeah.
Oh, it's a great movie. I mean, it was actually closer to the bomb than the original.
Yes, it was. But the secretive.
Oh yeah, but it's a little dark. Yeah. By the way, horses don't die like that.
Yeah.
They look that way. And it's only half the book.
Right. But yeah, it's just. But you look at the media towards children before us, and then the media towards children after us, and it's like
towards children during us, like the Bad News Bears, which I watched the other day.
What did you watch? I'm sorry, I missed it.
The Bad News Bears.
Oh, Bad News Bears. Yeah.
Where all the kids were just like the most potty mouthed and the bad seeds were starting. That's a whole big deal. We got movies movies for kids and about kids during our childhood were the first section of movies that were about bad kids.
Yes.
They didn't have movies about bad kids before that. The weirdest one before that was this movie from the 50s called The Boy with Green Hair, starring a very, very young Dean Stockwell.
Oh.
And it's in black and white, too. So it's like, how do you know he has green hair? But it's like, that was a subversive movie because the kid comes to school with green hair.
Right. Well, about the baddest kid on TV in the 50s was probably like Dennis the Menace or something along those lines. Like it was.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It was
back 60s, but yeah.
Or 60s, but but that's still before us. But like
Beaver was probably the worst kid on TV. Dobie Gillis,
Dobie Gillis. That's an interesting show too, because it was right at the change of the culture. But it's interesting. how that went down, and how all of the there was even a Twilight Zone episode where the villain was a kid who had control over everybody.
Right. That Billy Mooney episode, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what the hell is that episode's called? I love that episode.
Yeah,
they
it's a great episode.
In the movie, in the '82 movie. They
remade
it with
that's right.
With, by the way, the voice of Lisa Simpson is in that movie. She plays the sister of the kid in the
what's her name? I can't think of her name, and I've talked about her in previous videos of mine.
Yeardley.
Yeardley Smith. Yeah. Awesome. Eddie Haskell. Yeah, he was a bad kid too.
Eddie Haskell was the was the bad guy, baby, you know.
Yeah. So like the 70s and 80s was just like kids are evil, and then then Disney just dropped us as far as the fun magical movies. Our boomers got
been dead for a while, and they were like, oh, we gotta move forward.
Yeah, it was Disney without Walt. That is definitely true. But yeah, so it definitely changed and had a big effect on us. But let's keep going.
Educator Neil Postman, alarmed by the emergence of these proto-adults, called it the disappearance of childhood. Meanwhile, the overall media portrayal of children turned unremittingly negative, with child as devil horror movies from Rosemary's Baby and The Exorcist to It's Alive and Children of the Corn, playing to packed theaters throughout the entire Exer childhood. The portrayal didn't improve much as these children got older. Even at their best, they were, like the Tatum O'Neal adolescent, hard before their time. Words like latchkey, abused, abandoned, throwaway, and runaway for the first time became commonly attached to children. And the word dumb. The 1983 Nation at Risk report decried the rising tide of mediocrity that America's educators claimed was graduating from high school. Students whose educational skills will not surpass, will not equal, will not even approach those of their parents.
Boomers have really hated us our whole lives, haven't they?
They really did. Yeah, they really did.
They just never gave us a fair shake. And I got to be honest, to throw in a personal anecdote, I have issues with my boomer dad not trusting his children. We are almost 50 years old. And it's like, not because of anything nefarious, he just doesn't trust people younger than him or his kids. Like to make decisions. It's like, come on, we're adults. We're not 5 years old. Like they just had this distaste of our generation. And I don't get it. Like, and it's been so evident in everything from my own personal life to the media and everything. It's just like, yeah, they did. I feel like that with parents sometimes. It's like, why? Why? Yeah, like why?
I guess I got lucky because my parents were super young when I was born. I mean, my mom was 19, my dad was 23.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is that I was the only kid in their friend group too. So for years, until I was about 10,
interesting.
None of their friends, and their friends were all coupled up too, but hardly any of them had kids. And then once they started having kids when I was about 10, that's when I started seeing the helicoptering parenting come out. And those kids are starting to be, because I was 10 in 81, so those kids are starting to be millennials. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah,
that is interesting. Anna says there was a sense that we were academic underachievers, but street smart. I think that's a good point, and we were fine with that. We made our own way in the world. Yes, and Neil's going to get talking about that. Yeah,
but also don't forget the 70s of that era was the time of new programs in schools. You had the mentally gifted programs that started to come out, advanced classes and AP stuff, and so there was like this kind of weird phenomenon in education that was like, we want to identify the smart kids and give them all of the advantages and screw everyone else. And as one of those kids who was thrown into that smart kids paradigm, I don't think it did anybody any good either way, because it screwed us up as in the advanced classes, because we had no idea how to be kids at that point, and it screwed the other kids up because they got, a much less, a lower level of education. I mean, I actually ended up having to take some of those classes too, and they were definitely different, than the other advanced classes. It was crazy. The higher level stuff was not as good, and it really worked a lot of kids in that era because of the way that education was being done.
Yeah, I mean, and it's hard to have it's hard to put a bunch of different people with different abilities, different talents, different focus, different whatever, and try to teach them all the same way or teach them all the same thing. Like, that's one of the struggles of having any kind of general public education, is because you can't you can't focus on different strengths and weaknesses, and dividing up by test scores wasn't the way to do it.
No.
Like,
or intelligence IQ test.
I mean, there's got to be different ways to teach and and to educate, and I wish we would get into that more with our education system and try to come up with different ideas of how we do all this, because you don't want to, like you said, the focus on advanced stuff, but you don't want to have everything dumbed down, and you don't want, like, there's just, it's not an easy thing to figure out.
The education system in this country is just falling apart at the seams.
It is.
And, it's gotten to the point where the online educations are actually better than classroom educations. And it's crazy to me. I mean, it's also, though, it's crazy to me, but it's also, that sounds about right. Because it's terribly inefficient to. Well,
I mean, we have such
school, and it's really not efficient to teach that way, and it doesn't promote. It doesn't actually promote education. It's better when you have smaller groups with smaller cohorts, with a mentor type, with a teacher. If you had classes that were 5 to 10 people, we wouldn't have these issues, because each student would be able to get, some time. But that's not feasible in this particular paradigm that we have set up. If we did it all over again, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, it's all. The other thing is that, school, the whole point of schools and education in a society was to, teach skills, pass down knowledge, this kind of a thing. And you could only find it in your schools or your universities or your libraries or whatever.
Right. And that's no longer the case.
But that's no longer the case. And so since information is so widely accessible of all kinds, you've got to kind of figure out, okay, what does education mean at this point? Because it's no longer things passed down through universities or whatever schools. Like, how do you do that?
And education systems, historically have been the slowest to change and the slowest to adapt to modern technologies. Always have been and always will be, just because they have to, because they were set up to teach to the lowest common denominator. And that's what they tried to change in the 70s. They tried to not teach to the lowest common denominator, and that didn't work. So they have to. The education system has to evolve somehow. It has to look different than what it does now. Schools, large schools, probably need to come down at smaller schools, with more dedicated teachers, but also the ability to do online and be an autodidact is not, out of the realm of possibilities for people.
The idea of sending kids to a building outside of the house for 8 hours a day or whatever, that doesn't have to be the standard or the norm. Like, you could integrate meetups with online stuff or new tech. I mean, there's ways that you can do that.
When I had my kid in online schools, we had to go twice a week to social hour, and they got, instruction with other kids. So it was twice a week for like 4 hours a day. And that seemed to be enough, for a while anyway.
Yeah.
When they were in junior high anyway, it was enough.
Yeah. And just the basic setup of your zip code determines what school you go to.
Oh, it's terrible.
It is just a terrible setup, and but not to dwell on that anymore. But yeah, that I just think the idea of changing the education system or adapting it to the 21st century would be a smart thing, because we don't live in a time where you have to go to a university or you have to go to a school in order to gain any kind of knowledge. Knowledge is everywhere, and so. All right, let's keep going.
Young Xers thus acquired the child of divorce syndrome on a grand scale, the feeling that they were the reason why no one thought much of them and why everyone was so unhappy. After all, America was doing great until they came along. Low collective self-esteem became one of their primary pure personality traits. "We're rotten to the core," sang the Thug Boys in Bugsy Malone. "We're the very worst, each of us contemptible, criticized, and cursed." 16 years later, from their dingy basement, Wayne and Garth famously chanted, "We're not worthy." As novelist David Levitt observed, "Mine is a generation perfectly willing to admit its contemptible qualities." Xers learned early, indeed were deliberately taught, not to trust older people and institutions to look after their best interests. They grew up instead trusting their own instincts and serving themselves. Out of this understanding grew strong, pure personality strengths, self-sufficiency, resilience, keen survival instincts, and the power to distinguish reality from illusion. Not coincidentally, words like survivor and reality soon attach themselves permanently to media by and about Gen Xers.
I never even thought of that. The words survivor and reality attach themselves to our generation in the world of entertainment, and he's right. It's exactly what happened. Yeah, survivor and reality.
Yeah, we survived. Yeah.
While older people put them down as a low sweat, slacker, or why bother generation, Xers took pride in their own indifference, which is, after all, the finely honed skill of not wasting energy on stuff that just doesn't matter. Entering the labor market in the 1980s and 90s, young Xers encountered an economy increasingly tilted toward affluent older generations who had already purchased their high rung on the ladder on Wall Street, in the professions, in academia, and who no longer felt much obligation to keep the lower rungs in place. At the low skill end, entry-level union jobs began instituting two-tier wage scales, and legislators began scrapping the job training programs and welfare benefits that had remained in place during the boomer youth era. Globalizing trade and a historic new surge in immigration pulled down wages in just the age and skill brackets in which young Xers found themselves. Budding careerists with credentials did better, but the share of young men with college degrees actually retrogressed from boomers to Xers.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
That the number of college degrees in men went down from boomers to Xers? That surprised me.
Also, I just heard a phenomenal a piece of information this morning. Currently, men are on the males with jobs are drastically under women with jobs. Like by a huge percentage, which is 1 or 2%.
Yeah.
But it's like when you're talking about 350 million people, that's a lot.
Yes, it is, and it's wild to think how all this has shifted and how that affects a society, a generation, all of that.
I mean,
that's a big change.
Again, getting back to the higher education system, which we all know has been effed up for us, because we all can look at our parents. I looked at my dad's transcripts and how much he paid.
Right.
The same degree I got. Same exact degree. He got his in 1974. I got mine in 2026. Same exact degree. He got an English degree. So did I. He paid less than $1,000.
Yep.
Less than. Yeah, I'm still paying on my student loans, which I'm never. But yeah, it's 40 something.
Yeah, the student loan. Well, this whole student loan thing started right after your dad got his degree, and that's what started inflating the cost of education. Because once you have a guaranteed government payer, then they're gonna the entities
worst thing ever.
They're just going to start inflating their prices, and it's gotten out of hand. And now you have campuses with billions of endowments and these absolutely like ridiculous amenities, and the education just sucks. It's so messed up. And then everybody's graduating with thousands of dollars of student debt that they're never going to be able to pay back, and it's just a
and their degrees are worthless.
And the degrees are worthless. We have an overeducated, underemployed society at this point, and I think a lot of it is happening in the millennial generation. A lot of them are overeducated and underemployed, and it's like it's causing a issue because they can't get jobs to fit their education or the pay to fit their education, and it's a whole mess. It's a whole mess. These are things that we're going to have to fix.
But you listen. It's going to be so much better because Arizona State is now offering a degree in becoming an influencer.
Oh God. Sweet Jesus.
I am not kidding. I heard that on the radio this week.
Oh my, well, it tracks. Yeah, it
Arizona
tracks.
State, yeah, it tracks.
And why in the world would you go to college to get a degree and put yourself in all debt to become an influencer? You can just start a YouTube channel and like there's no need for that.
I know. I was immediately thinking about you. I'm like, she didn't need that. She's
no
a great channel. I mean, I know you're self-sufficient at this point. Give me a break.
Yep. Yeah. That is a stupid thing to do, to tell someone to, go pay $100,000 for a degree. That's something you can do for free. I'm
State, no less.
Yeah, I'm working on my next video, which it's almost done. And I was doing a segment on part 3 of 4, because 99's getting its own video. I just can't do it.
Okay, at the beginning of the 99 video, I would love it if you said it's getting its own video because Grendelson said I should.
We might. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
It's all good.
But I was talking about
an email or something that says that.
Yeah.
Put it on the screen.
Yes, that's a good idea. Send me an email that says 1999 must have its own video.
Yes, I will send you an email on it. And it's going, I've been thinking about your 1990s.
Yeah.
I really think that 1999 should have its own because it was so incredible.
I think there's more movies in 99 than there was in the rest of the decade combined as far as Gen X focused. I'm going to have to
dig it out, but my late uncle, who at the time was running a video online magazine, asked me to write an article of the top 20 Gen X movies of the year of 2000.
Oh.
And I'll find it for you because it's online somewhere.
Please do. But so I was doing this video. I was doing a segment on Good Will Hunting. And there's a scene in Good Will Hunting where Will is talking to a kid at Harvard, and he says something along the facts of someday you're going to realize that 6-figure education that you got loans for could have been gotten at the public library for $1.50. Yeah. And so that really resonated as far as education goes. Because you're asking, kids to be influencers to go put themselves in all this debt of something that they could have easily done just with a couple of YouTube courses and, and just starting your channel and figuring it out. So it's just so silly to, but it makes, yeah. All right, here we go.
Raised to take care of themselves, most Xers welcomed a less regulated economy, figuring that since the rules were rigged against them, fewer rules were better. They embraced a high turnover, low trust, free agency lifestyle, hoping that by moving quickly, they could always find a market break. Many gladly cashed out their workplace benefits, triggering the trend toward opt-in cafeteria and total rewards pay packages. At an early age, they gravitated to temp work, a sector which suited their grab-and-go instincts, and which today is aging with them. By the 1990s, Xers were dissolving the old A-frame corporate pyramid and replacing it with splintery M-frame or matrix substitutes, crowded with individual incentives and deals and unburdened by much sense of common mission. While boomer youth had focused on their inner lives, Xer youth tended to focus on bottom line outcomes. For the last several decades, the UCLA College Freshman Survey has been asking students what life goals they consider important. In the 1960s and early 1970s, when boomers were college freshmen, a 3-to-1 majority said developing a meaningful philosophy of life rather than being very well off financially. In the late 1970s, when Xers were entering college, those priorities reversed. Why waste time on meaningful? By the early 90s, it's it and that's that, and why ask why had become notorious X-targeting beer ads.
Yeah.
Individualism for boomer youth was a great discovery and achievement. For Xer youth, it was merely the new reality without the transcendence.
So yeah, I feel that makes sense to me. The boomer youth was all about, themselves and me and finding myself, and Gen Xers were just like, bottom line, what do I have to do to get things done and to make myself comfortable in this life? It's like this makes no sense. That we just have a whole different experience from every other generation, but especially the boomers.
Unlike boomer youth culture, which celebrated meaningful rural settings, Xer youth culture, from hip-hop and thrash metal to alt-rock and grunge, flourished in anonymous and hard-scrabble urban settings. On the streets was where markets flourished, risk-takers ventured, winners were sorted out from losers, and losers learned to start all over again. Generation X, originally coined as a mock anti-labeled joke on boomer yuppies, assumed a deeper meaning as Xers grew older. It suggested the absence of any generational center of gravity. Xers are, per capita, the most immigrant and diverse American generation born in the 20th century. Entering midlife, they have also become the most spread out in terms of income and wealth, with little discernible middle class. Their social loyalties are splintered into countless regional, occupational, and ethnic pieces. Because Xers assumed, and certainly were told, that they collectively had no future, each figured that his or her only chance was to take risks and be different.
How do you feel about that? I thought that was very insightful. We have no center of our generation. We're all over the place. Because we had to be. We had to just all go our own ways and figure out what was good for us, because there was nothing, our own selves, because there was no center. There was no leader, nothing to work towards, it was just, we're all on your own. Everybody, good luck.
Here you go.
So, yep.
Go do something.
Yep. Have fun.
Good luck.
Lucky niches were prized.
Happy to know you.
Mainstream brands were shunned. Generation X has had a profound and positive impact on institutions that reward initiative and daring do, and that insist on bottom-line results no matter what the cost. In the 1980s, a new wave of Xer recruits rescued America's military from its boomer-era demoralization and pulled its reputation back to a lofty Top Gun level of public esteem. After America's surprisingly swift Gulf War victory in 1991, the first large-scale action fought with mostly Xer enlistees, President H.W. Bush declared the boomer-era Vietnam syndrome to be over. He announced, "The ghosts of Vietnam have been laid to rest beneath the sands of the Arabian desert." In commerce, Xers have matured into one of the most innovative generations of entrepreneurs in American history. Boomers like Al Gore may have invented the internet, but surely it's Xers like Mark Andreessen, Larry Page, Sergey Brin, Jeff Bezos, Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, Travis Kalanick, Sheryl Sandberg, Dick Costolo, and Brian Chesky, who figured out how to make fortunes from the internet, and more importantly, how digital technologies would elevate productivity and revolutionize the global economy. Thanks to extras, U.S. corporations have returned to dominance among high-income economies by market cap, and small business has joined the military in high public esteem. In the culture, the Xer impact has been more mixed. Their music, shows, and novels have been out-of-the-box creative, to be sure, but much of it has been too raw, violent, or transgressive to win a large following with other generations.
I didn't even think about that, but I think he's kind of right.
Yeah, our movies were kind of out there, weren't they?
Yeah, our movies are.
Although the horror genre has gone real off the deep end.
Yeah,
but, I mean, I think for mainstream films, you know, you don't see no fight clubs anymore.
No, you don't.
You know,
I've gotten
anytime soon.
Yeah, and I've gotten a lot of comments on my '90s movies video about, the movies that I selected, and there's a lot of them are so dark and so, just angst ridden and sad and it's just our media was very angsty and very dark. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, send it to me.
Hear what the 10 movies are?
Oh yes, your 10 Gen X movies of 2000.
The videos. It was for video for DVDs. But
gotcha.
So it's for 99 movies. Okay, so in alphabetical order, Beyond the Mat, the documentary about wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
Dogma.
Yes.
Fight Club.
Yes.
Galaxy Quest.
Yes.
Ghost Dog: The Way of the Samurai.
Oh, interesting choice.
Gladiator. High Fidelity. Shaft. Star Wars Episode 1. And this last one is like the embarrassing part. Titan AE.
No Office Space?
No. I don't think I'd seen Office Space by then.
Gotcha.
I don't think I got to it quite right away.
Your list was pretty strong.
This was written in, I think, May of 2000. So, yeah. In fact, I had to go to the Wayback Machine to find it because the site's gone.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found it on Wayback, so.
Yeah, but it was a instantaneous reflection of the previous year. It wasn't. So it was with fresh memories of the movies that had just come out.
I literally had just seen Titan AE on the screen, and I was like, "This is great!" But yeah, no, that didn't work. I mean, here's what I said. You might remember a Laserdisc game called Dragon's Lair, or its follow-up Space Ace. That was the last cool thing that Don Bluth created prior to Titan AE. Yeah, boy, I didn't really like the Land Before Time movies. I said he's been working on those Land Before Time movies and other crap like that. While Titan AE is no Star Wars for this generation, it sure looks nifty. A perfect melding of the traditional animation and the best CGI I've seen in a long time makes this one worthwhile. While the story is no great shakes, it's nothing we haven't seen before. I don't know why. I should have put X-Men on there. That was
fun. Yeah, that's another one. One. Yeah, I think you're right, Edward. Entertainment, we took risks with our entertainment, and they don't entrusted the audience. And I think that's not happening today.
No, certainly not. No, I mean.
We also consume our media so differently because now when they make movies, they I heard Matt Damon and Ben Affleck talking about this once, where they were like, the new movies now are that there's a category called second screen movies, where the whole idea of it is that you're watching it while you're scrolling through your phone. So they have to isn't that awful? So they change the dialogue. They change. They're basically just dumping the whole narrative in detail into the spoken word. They're telling, not showing anything because you're not watching. So it's just it's changing it up so terribly. But
meanwhile, I went and saw The Odyssey last week in 70mm IMAX.
Oh wow. Jeez.
Yeah, it was. I'll say this: the 70mm IMAX was not as cool as I had hoped, because the theater I went to doesn't have the right setup. They have the projector, but they don't have the screen. So, yeah,
well, that's not gonna work.
I was not real happy about that. But
yeah.
Other than that, and other than the fact that halfway through the movie, I'm sitting there going, "Why is Spider-Man talking to Punisher?"
Yeah, I heard that was a big problem. Was that
and I'm sitting there going, "Wait, that's Spider-Man and that's the Punisher, and this is really seeming like Spider-Man and Punisher, not Telemachus and Menelaus." And I know this very well.
I've heard that critique from a few people, that it's like you're watching Anne Hathaway and you're watching Tom Holland. You're not watching, like, they didn't get into their characters, or like it's like you're watching the stars.
I thought he was great. I thought Tom Holland actually did a really nice job, and I did feel like he was Telemachus by the end. It's just that one scene really threw me out of that movie.
Gotcha.
Hathaway I thought was extremely good.
Yeah.
Really good. Damon could have been anybody.
Right.
Could have been anybody in that role. I really didn't notice who he was or what he was doing.
That's
maybe
weird.
Maybe it was a bad thing. I don't know. I mean, I certainly didn't realize it was Matt Damon. I didn't care. I was like, okay, it's Odysseus. That's fine.
Right.
But also we watch movies at home now. I mean, don't forget, there's so many movies that don't even come to theaters anymore because big screen. There's no point. It's a romantic comedy. Go watch it on Netflix. That's what you're going to do anyway. I can't believe they're still putting romantic comedies in movie theaters. Who's going to see those? On dates? Maybe.
Right. I don't know. And also, our movie studios have all been bought out by tech companies. So the whole idea of making
there's only 5 of them left.
Yeah. And so the whole idea of like movie making and the artistry of it and the filmmaking, it's not that anymore. It's just like content. And they look at it as content to put on their platforms and not as a movie to be made, a story to tell. And that approach is definitely changing how things go. But let's keep moving here. We'll listen a little bit more.
In religion, Xers have backed away from boomer spiritual pretensions, preferring strictly personal credos without much need for community or public ritual. In 1985, Robert Bella gave this belief a name, Sheilaism, after a young nurse named Sheila who said, "I believe in God. I'm not a religious fanatic. I can't remember the last time I went to church. My faith has carried me a long way. It's Sheilaism, just my own little voice." In politics, Xers have been conspicuous mainly by their absence. In their 20s, relatively few of them voted. In their 30s and 40s, they were very late in running for any political office, especially for the presidency. Today, with their leading edge now passing age 60, they have only recently attained a plurality in the House of Representatives. They remain years away from dominance in the Senate or in state governorships. No prior generation at this age has been so weakly represented in civic leadership. In part, this disinterest in politics reflects Xers' instinctive libertarianism. They have always believed that society works better bottom up than top down.
Yes.
When they do vote, Xers have tended to favor the party of less government, the GOP. This habit was acquired early, back in the 1980s, when young voters surprised older liberals by voting for Reagan. The first big Xer TV star, Michael J. Fox, was shown as a plucky, tie-wearing teen capitalist who stunned his hippie parents with anti-Streisand one-liners like, "People who have money don't need people."
If you guys have joined us late in this book club, in an earlier chapter that we were reading, we actually watched a part of the very first episode of Family Ties to show that generational difference between his boomer parents and Michael J. Fox's Alex P. Keaton. And it was like the opening scene of the whole series. And they hit it right away, the difference between the two generations. So if you haven't seen that, go back and watch that. Well, and we're starting Family Ties on the Discord here in a couple of weeks.
Family Ties is one of those shows that's just like so shows the difference between, that type of boomer and Gen X. And with both sides of Gen X too, not just, Alex, but, Jennifer.
You got Jennifer. Jennifer was a younger Xer.
Yeah. What was Mallory? Mallory.
Mm-hmm.
Why did I forget?
They were all different. Very different representations of different kinds of Gen Xers.
Until they got the little one, and he was just
Bonsall. He was a Zennial. That's the crappy part. Well, I mean, I guess he was born technically a millennial, but they aged him so quick. So I guess he's a millennial because he was born on the show.
Yeah, but he suffered from soap opera rapid aging syndrome.
Yes. So he was born in 87 and was like 6 years old by 89.
Year,
yeah.
I hate it when they do that with TV shows. I really do.
I get why they do it.
I hate it more when they forget that the that the characters actually have children. That's the funny.
Yeah,
that one.
that's
I love that one. I
That
love
one
the
happens.
rookie, and I swear to God, every episode they forget that half the characters have children, and we haven't seen the children in ages.
It's like, yeah, I know a lot of TV shows like they forget they have children, or they forget they have jobs, or they forget that they have to like,
or like Family Matters, they just forget the children.
Yes, just write them out. They just never come back.
I love
Happy Days. Happy Days
Chuck
perfected
Cunningham.
that.
Yeah,
the Chuck Cunningham syndrome.
Did you know that there was at least 3 different actors played Chuck Cunningham?
There were 3 different Chucks. That is correct.
Yeah,
there was one Chuck on the Love American Style pilot.
Yep.
There was a second Chuck when it went to series.
Yep.
And then they switched
Gavin
again.
O'Harahy was the third one.
Yeah, and he was the one that went up the stairs and never returned. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
they did it with Chrissy on Growing
Yep,
Pains.
they aged Chrissy on Growing Pains. Yep. And I get why they did it, because it's hard to
I mean, I think they did it all the way back in like
storylines.
Good Times, wasn't there a young kid on Good Times that suddenly was like a lot older the next year?
Yeah, probably.
And I think they had to
trying to think.
recast the kids on My 3 Sons a couple times.
Yeah, that sounds right.
You know?
I need to go look into this. This might be a good video topic of how they've Gen X children in 80s TV or 70s and 80s TV. What did they do to the kids? Are the kids all right?
And then at the end of that, you show Kid 90 and see what they all went to.
Yeah. I got a copy of Kid 90. I just got that a couple of days ago.
Oh, nice.
So I am going to be putting it on the Monday movie schedule.
Did one of your channel members send you that?
Maybe. I do not disclose my sources. Write it on the whiteboard. It's going on the board.
It's a Hulu.
We'll listen to like 5-10 more minutes of this, and then we'll do the drawing for the books.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go.
Ever since, at every age and in every presidential election, Xers have repeatedly voted more Republican than the nation as a whole. The same tilt appears among all Xers who have successfully run for office. Elected Xers represent the most Republican-leaning generation of congresspeople and state governors since the Lost. Redefining midlife in the long, grinding aftermath of the global financial crisis, Xers have found economic solvency to be their overriding preoccupation. Like partygoers waking up after a wild night at the casino, Xers show a wide disparity in wealth outcomes, wider than any midlife generation since, again, the Lost. A few have become fabulously wealthy. Some are comfortable. Many are struggling, and a large number are desperate. The latter include an aging wave of front-end Xers born in the early 1960s who are now homeless, unattached, or underemployed and passing age 60. Their suffering has contributed to an astonishing recent rise in midlife mortality rates, inspiring economists Ann Case and Angus Deaton's term midlife deaths of despair. Of all employed Xers, nearly 1 in 10 continues to rely on gig work as their sole source of household income. This leaves millions of midlife Americans without job security, health insurance, or pensions. And starring as the gritty protagonists of Deadliest Catch and Ice Road Trucker reality shows, 2/3 of these gig Xers say they are struggling financially. Overall, Gen X has experienced somewhat less upward family mobility than late wave boomers. Per person, barely half of all Xers earned more than their parents at age 30 or 40, and less than half of all Xer men earned more than their fathers. Per household, the median income of Xers has been slightly lower than that of boomers of the same age, an extraordinary generational backstep. Gen Xers have struggled even more to build up household net worth in order to provide for their future. Gen X currently owns 30% of all U.S. real and financial assets. Back when boomers were the age of Gen Xers, they owned 49%.
What do we all think about that? Yeah, we got 20% less of the economy than boomers did at our age. Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
That's just absolutely wild.
They continue to screw us over.
Yep.
They never change.
I know.
In surveys, Gen Xers report being more worried than other generations about their finances. When asked how they're preparing for retirement, nearly half say they'll just figure it out when they get there.
Yeah.
In surveys, Xers, women especially, are more likely than today's older or younger generations to agree that their generation is worse off than their parents. They are also the most likely to call themselves lower class and the least likely to call themselves upper class. This is grim payback for a generation that has always valued material success. Unlike boomers, they can't easily take refuge in spiritual transcendence. Ironically, the generation of avid Rich Dad, Poor Dad readers who once idolized the wheeler dealer rich dad and ridiculed the wage slave poor dad is now the least likely to agree that becoming wealthy is an achievable goal. As young adults, the early and late waves of this generation seemed to be a study in contrasts.
This is interesting. He's going to talk about how the realities and things that have happened to the oldest Gen Xers are very different from what's happening to the youngest Gen Xers. So this is a good part. So listen closely. Here we go.
Most first wavers, born in the 1960s, Atari or New Wave Xers, started out at a tougher time in the grim shadow of the double Volcker recessions and the long Bush Sr. recession. As young voters, they gravitated to Ronald Reagan and leaned most heavily to the GOP. Most last wavers, born in the 1970s, Nintendo or Clinton Xers, entered the workforce during the roaring 90s. In politics, they were okay with a cool boomer Democrat who could play the sax, so long as he governed lightly. At age 35, the best most first wavers could hope for was maybe a future that wouldn't totally suck. At age 25, many last wavers were daydreaming about seven-figure stock options. Yet since the dot-com bust, and especially since the global financial crisis, these contrasts have faded. Younger last wavers were hit even harder by the Great Recession than older first wavers, and are today the most pessimistic about their economic prospects.
Yay! Youngest Gen Xers are the most pessimistic. Yay!
No shit.
Pessimism.
I swore. Sorry, I promise not to do that.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I know. I didn't say the F
Voters
word.
in 2020, last wavers remained a bit more moderate than first wavers, but their 90s reputation as progressive has been eclipsed by younger millennials. Overall, midlife for Xers has been a transition from Generation Extreme to Generation Exhausted, a time to take stock, slow down, batten hatches, hedge risks, grow roots, and show true grit. They're playing and experimenting less. They're paying off debt and saving more. They're focusing harder on the tasks and relationships that really matter and ignoring the rest. Often for the first time, they're assuming responsibilities in their communities. Most of all, they've matured into the most protective parental generation in living memory, obsessed with providing their own kids with the hands-on care and structure they never had. For Xers, parenting means always being there, always knowing where your child is, always watching out for danger. Once their child leaves for grade school or college, they become every teacher's or professor's worst nightmare. The "not with my child you don't," mom or dad, unafraid to sue the school principal or shout at school board members. Next to their own child, what happens to everyone else's child means little. Along the way, Xers are becoming a generation of midlife fogies, seeking protection but no handouts for themselves and their families in a dangerous, pitiless world. Many are drawn to strong men who can smash a few heads and make things happen. Since 2016, Xers have proven decisive in tipping the Republican Party toward populism. Less religious and less trusting than boomer conservatives, they are more likely to figure that rules may have to be broken to make the system work again. Xers compose the clear majority of the elected politicians who supported Donald Trump's steal claim in 2020, and of the Capitol Hill arrestees in 2021. In 2022, for the first time, Many surveys showed Americans aged 45 to 65, whites especially, more likely to vote for the GOP than either younger or older voters. Gen X's greatest gift to society, grouchiness, proclaimed a recent Washington Post headline. This generation's most celebrated humorists, from Conan O'Brien and Tina Fey to Louis C.K., Chris Rock, and Dave Chappelle, come across as rough-edged and grumpy, full of snark and vitriol.
I thought that's
what
how
about our
everybody was.
spirit animal, Grumpy from Seven Dwarfs? They didn't start making Grumpy T-shirts until we were buying them. I'm telling you.
I know.
Right?
Wait, I need to have a grumpy T-shirt on my.
I need one
merch.
too. I need a Grumpy T-shirt. Actually, my ex-wife, we got her a Grumpy, sleeping shirt. One that's like your way but long. Like
nice.
Yeah, we got that at Disneyland.
Yep.
It's like, don't wake me. I haven't had my coffee yet.
Exactly.
Yeah,
we
Grumpy is our spirit animal. Come on.
Midlife fogies. We're grouchy and grumpy.
Yeah. Well, Grouchy and Grumpy weren't those two of the Seven Dwarfs? You had Sleepy, Sleazy, Sneezy, Doc, Grumpy, Grouchy, and Dickhead, right?
I think. Well, we had Oscar the Grouch on Sesame Street, so there's
my God! I forgot about Oscar. Did you know?
Yeah. So the Grouch.
Oscar was orange.
Yeah, he was orange at first, and they changed him to green.
Yeah.
Yep. Grumpy Gen Xer T-shirts. It's happening. It's happening. I'm working on my merch store. It takes a while, but I'm gonna get it all out there. Grumpy. I'm writing that down. We gotta have a Grumpy.
Grendelson says we were the born in the shadow of the. What did I say?
Yeah, I have it written down. Born in the shadow of the boom.
Shadow of the moon.
In the shadow of the boom. The other one was my generation was born on Friday the 13th. So
right, in the shadow of the moon. That's
in the shadow of the boom. Yep.
Friday the 13th on the shadow of the moon. Yep. That's
Oh, Eeyore. Yeah, Eeyore is another one. Yeah.
Oh my God, Eeyore. Oh, I gotta do this. Did you know that Eeyore and Optimus Prime have the same voice actor?
Shut the front door.
Can you just imagine if he was in? Yeah, Peter Cullen is the same voice actor. Can you imagine if he was in the voice studio and he's getting up there in age? He's in his 60s, 70s. What if he forgot which character he was doing? Autobots transform out. I guess
somebody needs to make that happen. Just AI wise.
That's good. I've been working on that for years.
That's good.
Yeah. And also Megatron is the voice of Tigger.
That's wild.
And he's also Fred Jones. Yeah. Everyone always seems to know this about Peter Cullen. It's great.
That's amazing. Leave me the F alone shirt. I think I can do that one.
Eeyore is definitely also our spirit. Eeyore is our spirit animal. Grumpy is our uncle. Uncle Grumpy. And,
our Disney uncle. Yeah.
Our uncle was Uncle Grumpy.
Yeah. And then we had Grouchy, and then I had Grouch on Sesame Street. I mean, I think.
Yeah, and our pet was either Chuck E. Cheese or the thing from Showtime Pizza, whichever one he was next to. I don't know what the mouse was Showtime Pizza was called. So. Oh
God.
Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, I had Showbiz. I had my 5th birthday at Showbiz, but I can't remember the name of all the animals. It's been too long. And I've smoked too much weed tonight.
And
right.
It stands for Charles Entertainment Cheese.
Charles Entertainment Cheese.
Who was also created by the guy who created the Atari 2600.
Nolan Bushnell. Misty, that could have been Misty. I know there was Muffy the Mouse on today's special, but I think Misty might have been the mouse at Showbiz. I'm not sure. It's been 43 years since I had a birthday there, so.
Chuck E. Cheese is still around.
Yeah, they devoured Showbiz, and there's a really great Rockafire Explosion documentary about that. Which is the name of the band at Chuck E. or at
There's
Showbiz.
A documentary about everything.
Yeah, there is. That's why I love Mitzi. I think that's it. All
Mitzi,
right.
that was like always the name of my grandparents' best friend, Mitzi, because I had Jewish grandparents,
That makes sense. That makes
Mitzi and Shlomo are coming over.
All right,
Make
a few
sure
more
you cut
minutes,
the
and then we'll
kosher
do
plate.
a few more minutes, and then we will draw for the books. So, yay! All right, here we go. We're wrapping it up, and this is. For those of you just joining us, this is an excerpt from the book "The Fourth Turning Is Here" by Neil Howe. This is from the section called Gen X in Midlife.
Who's still here? Sound off. Tell us if you want to win a book.
Yeah, anybody here want to win a book?
Come on, sound off. Tell us how many entries you think you have.
Yeah, there's some that have entries from every week, like 6 or 7 entries. So
I know, right?
Yeah.
All right. I got mine.
Yeah, you did. All right, here we go. Here is the last few minutes that we'll listen to.
They roll their eyes at PC complaints and feel a special bond with the unlettered deplorables in their audience. According to Pew Research, Xers are savvy, skeptical, and self-reliant. They're not into preening or pampering, and they just might not give much of a hoot what others think of them. Accustomed to lurking, this neglected middle child generation doesn't mind watching boomers and millennials arguing with each other and getting most of the media attention. They're content not to get involved. Withdrawing in disgust is not the same thing as apathy, goes the famous line in Slacker. Yet as they grow older, Xers wonder if their strategy of withdrawal may have contributed to trends that worry all Americans. The growing dominance of self-interest, especially profit in how we behave, the coarser, ruder, brassier tone of our daily lives, and the collapse of national civic life, including the glaring fact that nobody even pretends to be in charge. Slogans like "works for me" and "move fast and break things" may make sense at age 25. They make less sense at age 55 when people shift their focus to the kind of country their kids are about to inherit. All their lives, maybe as early as disco in the late 70s, Xers have blamed boomers for ruining America just before they got here. Most recently, tech billionaire Bruce Gibney called boomers a generation of sociopaths, guilty of generational plunder, always tearing down and borrowing, never building up and investing. Yet if Xers want to identify the generation least like their own, they should look not to boomers, with whom they share more than they would like to admit, but to the silent, their archetypal opposite, who were the parents of most early wave Xers and did the most to shape the Xers' upbringing. Who were the silent? They were sheltered and trusting children, cautious and conformist youth, empathic young adults, and newly experimental as they entered midlife. How does the Xer life story compare? At every phase of life, Xers have been just the opposite. Toward the climax, winner take all. Now once more the belt is tight, and we summon the proper expression of horror as we look back at our wasted youth. F. Scott Fitzgerald said after the crash that hit his peers at the start of what should have been their highest earning years. A generation with no second acts, he called his lost peers. But they proved him wrong. They ended their frenzy and settled down, helping to unjangle the American mood. Where their missionary predecessors had joined moralistic crusades in midlife, the post-crash lost returned without fanfare to the basics of life. What is moral is what you feel good after, declared Ernest Hemingway. What is immoral is what you feel bad after. They never thought much of themselves. Mama, I have been a bad boy. All my life I have been a bad boy, murmured author Thomas Wolfe just before his death from tuberculosis, a burned-out wreck at age 38 after a lifetime of wildness. On the eve of World War I, the Atlantic Monthly accused the rising generation of mental rickets and curvature of the soul. During the war, the alleged stupidity of American youth became a raging issue when IQ tests indicated that half of all draftees, a large number of them recent immigrants, had a mental age of under 12. After the war, their morals were assailed by aging missionaries. In the dark days of the Depression, when FDR blasted a generation of self-seekers for wrecking the temple of our civilization, he clearly meant the middle-aged lost, who throughout the 1930s were attacked as copperheads, naysayers, irresponsibles, and, as war approached, isolationists. FDR led crowds in thunderous chants against Martin, Barton, and Fish, three prominent lost Republicans who opposed him in Congress. The Great Depression brought them a midlife hangover. According to Malcolm Cowley, it was a time of doubt and even defeat for his peers. But as life went on, they lent the 1930s much of that decade's gutsy but solid reputation. With FDR winning term after term, the Republican-leaning lost did not attain a majority of congressional seats and governorships until 1941, later in their life cycle than any other generation in U.S. history, until Generation X. When World War II hit, the lost shed their isolationism and provided the war-winning generals whose daring, Patton, warmth, Bradley, and persistence, Eisenhower, energized younger troops. At home, they mastered deadly new technologies, from radar and sonar to proximity fuses and nuclear fission.
This is one thing that I want to do personally after reading these books is kind of go back and look at some things about the lost generation and how they got through the fourth turning and because they were the last Gen Xers of the the last seculum, and to see how they handled the transition of getting the country from the fourth to the first turning and the post-war, how they handled all that, with what they did, the things that they did politically, the things that they did business-wise, or the decisions they made or whatever. But that's one thing that just kind of look at the Gen Xers that came before us and see how they did things. And then at the other fourth turnings as well, the ones that but he does go into that in the fourth turning is here, because he dives into more backstory and dives into all the different stuff of the fourth turning is here. All the different fourth turnings that have been since the revolution. So
yeah, that's the when you go back and look at that stuff, and then you see the parallels to what's going on today, your mind gets blown. You can see the same parallels happening over and over and over again.
Yes, absolutely.
That's the whole point of the theory.
Yeah, there's the same, you're making decisions about the same things and just with different factors, and different
the themes are the same, are the same, but the circumstances are different.
Right. Yeah. And so I might read this book again, because I read it when it came out in 2022, but I listened to it. I didn't actually read a copy of it, and that changes how I process things if I listen to it versus if I sit there and read a hard copy. But but yeah, it's just to kind of, as we talk about how our generation, the things that are possible that we could possibly do over these next few years as we get through the crisis climax and get through the fourth turning into the first, like what happened before us, like what did our analogous generations do before us, and really kind of hone in on that. So that's something I'm probably going to do in my vast free time, which I have so much of.
The stack of books I'm supposed to be getting to.
Yeah.
And manage the world's most efficient war machine. With little philosophizing, their first president dropped 2 atom bombs and then arranged a peace that was less vengeful and more secure than the one he recalled from his own soldier days. This no second act generation lent America the grit to survive dark global emergencies and, in the end, to triumph over them. During the Great Depression, the lost were hit hard, but refused to ask for public favors. In World War II, they manned the draft boards, handed out the ration coupons, mapped the invasions, and dispatched the bomber fleets. They gave the orders that killed thousands, but saved millions. From blood and guts generals to give 'em hell presidents, the lost knew how to take the heat and prevail. This was the last time the nomad archetype entered a fourth turning. Imagine sometime in the late 2020s that the United States is plunged into sudden hostilities with a major power adversary. Only this war will seem to break all the rules. It will begin with a massive cyber attack of unknown origin intended to cripple America's energy, transportation, and communications infrastructure. It will be followed by an anti-satellite barrage in order to render America blind as well as dumb. Then come the AI-guided drone swarms, perhaps synchronized with an invasion of U.S. allied nations by unidentifiable hybrid troops who quickly mix with the civilian population. The war will manifest itself as a gigantic puzzle full of ruses and feints, decoys and dead ends, destruction and denial. Nothing will be clear, yet everything will be at stake. Whichever officers are in charge of the American response, they will need to be cool under fire, willing to call a bluff, and unfazed by extreme risk. They must act alone. There will be no time to convene meetings. They must be resilient problem solvers, accustomed to thinking fast outside the box and kludging together high-tech solutions on the fly. Now picture the 50 and 60-somethings who will preside over U.S. military forces, from the Marines to the Space Force, as well as U.S. corporate cyber strategy offices. From childhood on, nearly all of them will have shared an immersion in certain standard pop culture themes. From D&D to The Legend of Zelda, from Twin Peaks to The X-Files, from War Games and The Last Starfighter to The Dark Knight Rises and World War Z, from Mad Max to I Am Legend. Standard plotline: a lone protagonist, unassisted, unprepared, from whom nothing is expected, is chosen at random to decide the fate of humanity. The situation looks dicey. Motives are hidden. Few can be trusted. The world may hardly seem worth saving, but at a pivotal moment, this wayfarer shrugs off the stress, arranges priorities, does what it takes, and saves the kingdom. Generation X, America's rising cadre of hands-on military chieftains and business bosses, does in fact possess the temperament and skills for America's next unexpected challenge. Player One or Rogue One, take your pick, will be ready. Whether Xers look forward to such a role is another question altogether. I've glimpsed our future, warns the high school valedictorian in the 1989 film Say Anything. And all I can say is, go back.
Go back.
Decades later, many of her classmates have reflected on that message. And for good reason. They may suspect their own collective story will not have a comfortable ending. Nomad generations, what Kristen Slater once referred to as a long list of dead, famous, wild people, have always been the ones that lose ground in wealth, education, security, longevity, and other measures of progress. Yet they have also been the generations that lie at the fulcrum between triumph and tragedy, the ones who hoist their society through its darkest trials.
That's us. Did you guys hear that? I want to do that one more time. I'm going to go back 10 seconds. This is our place in history.
Yes. Yet they have also been the generations that lie at the fulcrum between triumph and tragedy.
Lie at the fulcrum between triumph and tragedy. One more here.
The ones who hoist their society through its darkest trials.
The ones who hoist their society through its darkest trials.
Oh, I want that. Hoist the society through the darkest trial.
Gen X. That could be a
Generation X. I'm Generation X man. I am here to hoist the generation
through its darkest trials.
Don't you see my emblem? It's Gen X. It's just a big X. No, I'm not X-Man.
Oh, that was so good.
As the crisis era deepens, even the youngest Gen Xers will be reaching their late 40s, and their generation as a whole will have moved fully into midlife.
Yeah.
By now, it will become obvious that the oldest Xers will be, on the cusp of elderhood, significantly worse off economically than boomers were at the same age. They will continue to fan out across an unusually wide range of money and career outcomes. The entire distribution, moreover, will be pulled down by the crisis-era growth in public spending. The Xers at the high end will find their income and wealth shaved away by emergency tax measures. Xers at the low end by falling real wages and eroding public safety nets. While reductions in old age benefits will start affecting boomers already well into retirement, and many inevitably will be grandfathered out of the new austerity, such reductions will hit most Xers full force on day one. Xers will say to themselves, sure, we always knew it was going to turn out like this. The crisis era image of a middle-aged worker will be a modest wage job hopper who retains the flexibility to change life directions at a snap. The prototype midlife success story will be the entrepreneur who excels at deal-making, leverage, and high-tech problem-solving. The prototype failure will be the ruined gambler, broke but still trying. Rivaling them at the affluent but not rich edge of their generation, in a sort of revenge of the nerds, will be the slow but steady plodders, many of them immigrants and from diverse ethnic backgrounds. They will overtake many quick strikers who took one risk too many. With Xers, midlife will lose moral authority and gain toughness. Their mindset will be hard-boiled and hands-on, their risk-taking now mellowed by a crisis-era need for security. Middle-aged people will mentor youth movements, lend an easygoing class to hard times, and contribute nuts and bolts workmanship to whatever the nation needs to accomplish. Millennials will admire them for their gutsy resolve, wild humor, and seeming indifference to the approval of others. Throughout the economy, Xers will be associated with risk and dirty jobs. They will seek workable outcomes more than inner truths. We won't have a bad backlash against our lost idealism, predicted slacker filmmaker Richard Linklater, since his generation never had that to begin with.
I'm surprised he made Linklater a Gen Xer because I think Linklater was 1960. I think he's a boomer. I could be wrong. I don't know. Generation Jones. Yep, we are X-Men women.
Cuspers on both sides. I think.
Yep.
I think Linklater. I think he identifies as Gen X. I don't think he identifies as a
probably, or at least Gen Jones. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's mostly how you self-identify, really.
Agreed.
Especially when you're on the cusps. You know,
yep.
Obviously,
and
Gen X. I'm core. I'm like right in the middle.
You're right in the middle.
When you're on the cusps, you can go either way, and you
go either way.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely 61s borns who were boomers. Obama.
100%. Yeah, but I mean, Linklater made Slacker and Dazed and Confused. He's about as Gen X as you can
honestly, get. The trilogy of the Beyond, Before Sunset, Sunrise, whatever that was.
Yes,
those things are hugely influential these days, and very, very well received. As was Boyhood, which is on the top 100 movies lists of a lot.
That's true. I've never watched Boyhood. I gotta
see that too, because any movie that was made over the course of somebody's actual lifetime, I really want to see that.
Yeah, I agree.
Really want to see the actual actor growing up over the course of the movie, and that's what I understand is just thing.
Right. That's so cool.
Also, by the way, Richard Linklater did write a spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused. Did you know that?
I did not know that. Yeah,
it's a college film about baseball. I can't remember the name of it is, but if you look up Linklater, you'll find it.
I think I've seen it. It's
great. It has Wyatt Russell in it. So
yes, okay. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's got like Nepo kids and it's phenomenal. If Dazed and Confused had never been made, this would be our days. That would be Dazed and Confused for millennials.
Yeah.
It takes place in the 80s.
It's weird. There's things I need to watch it again. I've only seen it one time, and I didn't know about all of that until after I saw it. And
I didn't even know it was a Richard Linklater film. I turned
right.
I missed the credits, and I'm like, "Oh, this is fun." And at the end of the movie, I'm like, "Hey, this was fun. Who directed that? Richard Linklater? What? Wait, no wonder it was a lot like Slack, like Dazed and Confused."
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, we're almost done here. We're getting close.
Most of the bleeding-edge musical and media innovations of the Xers' earlier years will be ignored or overhauled by younger Americans whose pop culture will be tuned into a more upbeat and politically correct vibe. Even Xers themselves who want to revisit their profanity-laced youth in the manner of hot tub time machine will make sure their own kids or grandkids are not in the same room. A few aging cultural renegades refusing to back down in the face of younger media Bolsheviks will scatter around the world, feeling like those whom Douglas Copeland calls a white Russian aristocracy, exiled in Paris cafes, never to get what is due to us. As they confront their life problems, Xers will prioritize their efforts according to their attachments. Their first priority will be their families. They will continue to take pride in their ability to have a life and wall off their families from financial woes. Their divorce rate will remain well below that of midlife boomers. As the crisis-era mood deepens, they will grow even more protective of their children. Their next priority will be the schools and local youth and community activities that most affect their families and where they figure their contributions can make the most difference. Their last priority will be national public leadership. Inevitably, as boomer and silent leaders retire, the Xer share of national leaders will rise. But this share will remain much lower than for earlier generations at their age. And by the late 2020s, they will see the millennial share rising rapidly in their rearview mirror.
Damn you, millennials.
Yeah. But they're supposed to be the hero generation.
I know. It's their destiny or their density. Right.
It's your time.
But Edward the Stork, that Linklater movie is called Everybody Wants Some. So
yeah, I should remember that because that's the name of the song in Better Off Dead.
Yeah.
That's the song that the hamburger sings.
That's right. Oh my God. That was a deep cut. I totally forgot about that.
Now that's a real shame when folks be throwing out a perfectly good white boy like that.
That's one of the best scenes. All right, I'm gonna go check out.
I watched that movie recently. Doesn't hold up, but that's
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I'll have to check it. I haven't watched it in a long time.
It's weird.
See what I think about it. Yeah, I'm gonna play this next part, and I'm gonna pee and come back. So I'll be back in like a minute. Right. So I'm gonna play this. Here we go.
All right.
Few of their classmates and friends will have built civilian public sector careers. When Xers do run for national office, as happened in the 2020 Democratic presidential primary, most will strike voters as fringy and uncredentialed, and thus will struggle to be taken seriously. They will be more successful in local politics, where they have real skin in the game. By the end of the decade, Xers will constitute a decisive majority of governors and mayors, a growing share of whom will be former entrepreneurs, CEOs, and housewives who will brag about their political inexperience. A growing share, too, will be immigrants or come from immigrant families. As the crisis era moves toward its climax, government at every level will be called upon to mobilize people and resources, to build new infrastructure, to enlarge production capacity, to care for the suffering, to transport military personnel, or to provide civil defense. All this will put the rough and ready Xer leadership style to the extreme test. And by and large, that style will prove to be effective. Xers in charge will be masters of triage. They won't worry about the unsolvable and won't fuss over the merely annoying. As elected leaders, they will speak plainly to voters and respond flexibly to constituent requests. They will focus doggedly on bottom-line results and won't mind bribing, threatening, or cutting corners to get them. Their hands strengthened by the emergency, they will sweep aside procedural legalisms, much to the anguish of many older boomers and silent. As military commanders and as chiefs of protective services, Xers will release their inner warrior. They will demonstrate deft timing, tactical creativity, an instinctive sense of what counts and what doesn't, and an ability to move on quickly from one problem to the next. Where this generation will take the nation, however, remains unknowable.
This is nuts, right? Yeah, we're gonna have to do some hard things. We're gonna have to do some.
But we're ready. Listen, we've been doing hard things our whole life. We're ready.
Yep.
Ready.
And it's gonna be difficult. people are going to be mad and things are going to be painful, whether it be, whatever it is, financial decisions, war decisions, social safety net structures, education systems, all this stuff. Like, we're going to have to, and we're going to focus on the stuff that needs, like, we're going to prioritize and just get shit done. Like, it's a hard knock life. That's right.
It's a hard knock life
for us.
Gen X leaders and voters at the zenith of midlife power will introduce dizzying volatility to the nation's political direction, and perhaps even uncertainty about what sort of nation or nations America will become.
Nations.
While middle age is ordinarily regarded as the most rooted phase of life, middle-aged Xers will sense they have little stake in the old order, as though their names and signatures are missing from the social contract. From childhood into midlife, they will have heard only one message: what you do with your life is up to you, and if you get in trouble, well, better fix it on your own. They will not recall a time when most of their peers felt strong bonds of obligation and reward connecting them to the Republic. The historical track record of the nomad archetype is encouraging. For the sake of their families and children, these generations typically choose to build where others have destroyed, to give back what they were never given. Having grown up in a time when walls were dismantled, families dissolved, and loyalties discarded, Xers in the heat of emergency will likely seek to defend a powerful and newly energized republic as a means of securing the kind of well-anchored institutional world that was denied to them earlier in life. Their weak, we're not worthy collective self-esteem will enhance their new civic role, since they are unlikely to ask much personally in return for sacrificing their lives, fortune, and sacred honor. Other generations will, if grudgingly, go along with their directives. Yet other darker trajectories are possible. Should a critical mass of Xers decide that a single American nation is hopelessly fractured, they may opt to break it up into a multitude of don't tread on me pieces. Another possibility is that populist Xer firebrands act to save the Republic by taking direct action now and justifying it later. Disillusioned libertarians, funded by tech tycoons, could decide to repurpose the winning commercial slogans they recall from the late 1990s. No excuses, just do it. No rules, just right. Into the winning political slogans of the late 2020s. Start with a winner-take-all ethos that valorizes action for action's sake, exalts strength and impulse, and holds compassion and contempt. Add class desperation, anti-rationalism, and perceptions of national decline. The product, at its most extreme, could be a new American fascism. Whatever happens, the ekpyrosis, the culmination of the crisis era, will lend new meaning to Xers' lives and highlight the core strengths of their pure personality. Many of the traits that they will have heard criticized for decades, their toughness, realism, lack of affect, will now be recognized as vital national resources. If they succeed in saving the Republic, they will hear less dismay about their political incorrectness. Fewer Americans will any longer complain about how their soldiers act too much like gladiators, their entrepreneurs too much like robber barons, their politicians too much like bosses. A strong new regime will in any case render those talents less necessary with the passage of time. Middle-aged Hispanic, Asian, and Arab Americans, among others, while not hiding their racial or ethnic identities, will join in building the new mainstream, no doubt aware that they have much to gain from a system that works. During the crisis era, Xers will provide the on-site tacticians and behind-the-scenes managers whose decisions will determine day-to-day outcomes. If one or more boomers occupy the gray champion role, Xers won't be in charge of the grand strategy. In that case, Xers may be the only ones capable of deflecting the more dangerous boomer tendencies. Millennials won't check boomers, nor will boomers check themselves. Only Xers will be in the position to force boomer priest warriors to get real when the sacrifice they ask for vastly outweighs the future reward. It may indeed be some middle-aged statesman, general, or presidential advisor who, acting alone, prevents some righteous old Aquarian from loosing the fateful lightnings, to quote again the battle hymn of the Republic, and turning the world's lights out. Yet the gray champion may not be a boomer. It may be an Xer, especially if the crisis climax arrives late. We have certainly witnessed nomad gray champions before, George Washington and Queen Elizabeth, for example. Here the danger will be different, that this nomad leader will exercise too much prudence and seek to cut a deal too soon before the final goal has been achieved. Security will be procured, but at the cost of stunting the new regime's future after the resolution is reached. However the crisis turns out, Xers can count on getting less than their fair share of the credit and more than their fair share of the blame.
Yep.
Now entering elderhood, Xers won't be at all surprised. All their lives, Xers have suffered a blighted reputation in the eyes of other generations. Even Xers themselves half accept the judgment, which is why they don't think the world owes them much. As national leaders, their crowning achievement may be to use that collective humility about their own deserts in order to provide a better world for their children and grandchildren.
And there you go.
Let's give away some books.
Let's give away some books. That is the end, though. That is the.
Now I'm depressed.
I don't want you to be depressed.
No.
But that is the end of the fourth turning and Strauss and Howe series on the book club. Well, not the Strauss and Howe series, but the fourth turning. We're going to be doing the 13th gen in August, the rest of August, while it gives me time to get all these books out to y'all. And then we'll be starting Nelson 1st of September. So we're almost through Strauss and Howe. Not quite. So now we do Nelson. Let me bring up my little list here. I got it all worked out. And you haven't seen this list. You have no idea. You haven't seen any of the numbers.
I don't know what the heck.
You don't know what the heck. So that's why. So this is not pre.
You know what I was gonna. You know what? I could roll some dice or something and give you a number.
Okay. We can do that. We'll wait for him to get them dice. Yeah, the next book's going to be good. It's a fun, definitely more fun book. I want a lighter, maybe would be the way they put together. There's a lot of pop culture references, film quotes in the margins. So, oh, there you go. Cool.
Plenty of dice.
Tell
me what the highest number is, and we'll go from there.
The highest number is 50. So 1 to 50.
50. Okay.
Yes.
All right. 50. All right. How are we gonna do that?
Edward wants to know what kind of die.
I know. I'm trying to figure out what kind of die. I could do. Okay, I have percentile dice. That'll work. All right. So. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so this is a tens.
Okay.
And 10 and 20 will be 10. Will be 0. I'll figure it out.
Okay. Yeah, just give me a number between 1 and 50.
A number between 1 and 50.
19. Our first winner is Edward This Door. Edward! Yay!
Congratulations.
Edward This Door. You get the first Nelson book. Hold on. All right. So there's your copy right there. I'm going to write this down. So Edward This Door, you need to send me an email about where you want me to send this. Let me put up my email one more time. Let's see. genxnatalie@gmail.com.
Their percentile does.
Edward.
One of them is a 10, and I'm going to go 0 through 50 is 0 through 50, and then 60 through 100 will also be 0 through 50. It'll work.
Very nice.
All right. Ready for your
All
next
right.
one? How many
Next
more
one.
How many more numbers?
We need four more.
Four more.
Four more books to give away.
All right. Four more numbers. Here we go. 49.
49. Dale Glassmeyer, 5696. Dale Glassmeyer, 5696.
I shouldn't be surprised that it's people I recognize their names, should I?
Yep.
But this is on the up and up. I'm rolling dice. I don't know what the heck's on the sheet.
Yeah. Yep. I just put everybody's anytime I went through each live stream and went through the chat of each live stream, went through the comment section of each replay, and wrote down everybody that put in the word that I asked for.
Beautiful.
And so I just put a random list. All right.
All right, here we go. One more. Coming up, we have 11.
11. All right, hold on. Let me write down Dale's name here. 11. Lobo Lady 2007. I haven't seen her since I haven't seen her since the first couple of weeks. So we might have a re-gift. I might have to have a re-gift. If I don't hear from all 5 winners on my email between now and next Tuesday, anyone that hasn't claimed, I will re-roll and we'll re-give. So so y'all have a week till next Tuesday, which is August 11th, to send me an email to claim your prize. You need to give me your name, your username here on YouTube, and where you want me to send the book. So if I don't hear from you, then you lose your copy. So Lady Lobo 2007. All right, up next.
Okay, well, I'm going to use a random number generator this time. I'm going to click it about 4 times, and whatever comes up next, 34.
34. Lady G 9830. Lady G.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You're here tonight. Good job.
Yeah, I think she's here. Way to go, lady. Congratulations.
All right. I'm going to roll one more time.
Okay.
Trying to roll for Joseph here. I don't know what number you have, but.
Joseph has a few numbers.
Number 13.
13.
But that wasn't a 10. It was a 6.
Rachel 413G. Rachel 413G. She had a few. She sometimes watches the replay and puts her stuff in the
nice. We love it when you watch the replays and comment.
Yeah.
We love that. We will read the comments and we will reply to them. We definitely will.
Yes, absolutely. So Edward This Door, Rachel 413G, Lobo Lady 2007, Dale Glassmeyer, Lady G 9830. You are my winners. If I don't, congratulations to all of you. If you way to go, Lady G. Yes, that's right.
What you won. Of course, yours probably won't have. I don't know. Maybe she will. But yours won't have a really nice, inscription.
Oh.
On your copy. Yours will have that beautiful inscription, which now I can't show it. But
there it is. Yes. If you want me to write in your copy, let me know in the email. Otherwise, I will just attach a card to it. So it depends on how you want your book to arrive. If you want me to write it in or not. Congratulations to all winners. Thanks everyone for joining us over this last 13 weeks. And like I said, I honestly think that there is a possibility that there might be 1 or 2 that don't get claimed, or at least one. So yeah. So
we should tease it for them. Let's see. Let's start reading the back quotes.
Yes, we should.
And then we have a little special surprise for you for the very last quote here. So
yes, these are all real quotes.
Real quotes from the book.
from the
I was
book.
married to their father. I'm not impressed. Mom. Well, if you know anything about their mom,
you know that this is
You know
not
that-
a stretch
no.
in any way, shape, or form.
yeah, I can't wait to get to those chapters. Nelson's over and they're just costing me money. David Geffen. Come on, David. Nelson, because they can, maybe they shouldn't, people.
People magazine.
Yeah. Axel could do it better. Aaron Everly. Come on now. You're a next baby too, Aaron.
Yeah.
She's one of the Aaron Everly brothers' kids.
Wasn't Aaron married to Axl Rose?
Oh, was she?
I think
wasn't.
I don't know. I could be wrong.
I don't know. We burnt effigies of them before every show. Kurt Cobain. Well, yeah. Love and Affection. That song's a stinker. Dickhead at Trauma Records. You didn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
That's a great song. What? YouTubers still here? Tony Bird, Geffen Records. Just wanted you to know that I'm going to do everything in my power to kill your record. Robert Smith, DGC, which I'm assuming is not Robert Smith of The Cure.
Yeah.
It's just a love it. No doubt about it. The Nelson Show is awful. Houston Chronicle.
Houston Chronicle.
Here's
an LA Times review.
Yeah. Well, David Hilburn was a jerk.
Yeah.
Rick's twin sons then sang at their father's funeral in small, out-of-tune voices.
Isn't that
Who
nice?
says that?
In his obituary or their rundown of the funeral.
Now.
I know.
Yeah. The only reason I was being nice to you is because I thought there was a house in it for me.
Yeah.
Matt's first wife.
Yeah, this quote
My
is from
absolute favorite.
Yeah, this is Matt's first wife. I'm going to say it one more time. The only reason I was being nice to you is because I thought there was a house in it for me. That's from Matt's first wife.
I love that.
And then, go ahead.
No, you go.
Jack Ponte says, I've never met anyone who could make more out of nothing than you two.
And the piece de resistance.
Yeah, this last one is from Beavis and Butthead. Hey, those two chicks are hot. Those aren't chicks. That's Nelson. Nelson are chicks. I get the one on the left. You get the ugly one.
And if you don't believe us.
If you don't believe us.
But these are real.
Go. Yep. These are real quotes.
Here's your special treat.
Yes.
We actually planned this.
Here she comes.
Chicks look like guys.
That one's not wearing a bra. Hey, Butthead, I heard that this chick's grandpa is Ozzy Osbourne.
I heard these chicks' grandpa is Ozzy Osbourne. Stephanie Seymour, yeah.
Does that mean Harry in his shirt? Ozzy! Ozzy Ricky!
No, you get the ugly one.
You get the ugly one.
You get the ugly one. I get the one on the left. You get the
Hey,
ugly
we didn't
one.
get a stream. Yay.
Yay. I paused it at 15 seconds. We got 15 seconds. It was only a 30-second
It was only 40 seconds. So
yeah, so it worked really well.
We're in the clear this time.
Yep.
We got to Nelson out, and we got to...
yeah, we got to Nelson.
share.
It was a secret Nelson out.
Yeah. I plotted that for a while, actually. No.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, don't forget, in the fall, once we start reading said book, I am going to find myself a box of Pro Set 1991 music cards. And I will open them. I don't know if I'll do it live on air, not on your channel, but I'll probably do it live on air. And any Nelson cards that I pull outside of the two that I'm going to send to Natalie to complete her collection, I will complete a collection for myself, and then I will give away the Nelson cards.
That's amazing. That's going to be awesome. Yay!
Yes. And hopefully there should be some, because it's a box of 36 packs, and there was like 15 cards in a pack.
Yeah. Oh my God. So the odds are very good. Yes.
Odds are very good for duplicate. Trust me.
Awesome. So as far as Axl's wives go, he's been married twice. First, he was married to Erin Everly, the inspiration behind the Guns N' Roses hit Sweet Child of Mine. Everly was married to Rose for less than a year before they split up.
Then and she's one of the Everly brothers.
She's
kids.
Daughters, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then he married Stephanie Seymour. So you guys had it right in the chat. Stephanie Seymour. Rose was later engaged to supermodel Stephanie Seymour in the early 90s. They starred together in the November Rain music video. Oh, no, they didn't get married. After they started together in November Rain, the high profile relationship ended in a messy breakup and legal dispute in 1993. So Erin Everly was his wife, but they were married for less than a year.
Don was her father.
Don Everly, yeah.
Don Everly, yeah, just in case you wanted to know.
Gotcha.
And then she was married to some guy named Jack Portman. I don't know who that is.
Huh. I had never heard of him.
I don't either.
So I'm going to have to change the background. Going to have to change the background for next week since we have the fourth turning over. Changing it to 13th gen. Let me see if it's on.
I'm leaving mine. I like my background. I don't know where I found it, but I love it.
It's good. Yeah. 13th gen.
Nice.
Retry. Let me see
Scotty's
if it's on.
Review the video and restart it. Thank you, Scotty. There's Scott Everything page.
13th gen abort retry FL Nora Internet Archive. I want to see if we can find it on the Internet Archive.
Oh yeah, I think it's there. I think I downloaded it.
For some reason, things. Oh, here we go.
Maybe I didn't.
Oop-a-doo. There it is.
Hey, there it is.
So let me.
The Gen X Doomsday Book Club. So that's going to be next year when we start reading a post-apocalyptic book. You know? Like, weren't there, like, On the Beach or some? I can't remember. Were there any? Did you read any post-apocalyptic books when you were?
Not a ton.
I think that's more a millennial thing. That you know, with the Hunger Games and
right,
all those.
So this book is on Internet Archive.
I can't even with the Hunger Games. Don't get
that stuff doesn't interest me.
I saw the first movie and I was like, why do people care about this?
Yeah, it's just it's weird. But yeah, so the 13th gen is on the Internet Archive, so you can get a free copy or you can buy one off of Amazon and go through it. But there's a lot of pop culture references and they're trying to figure out the culture, like who are these post-boomer people and what are they doing. And again, it was from 1993, so there's 3 parts to this book, so each week we're going to go through a different part of the book and talk about some fun stuff. And then September 1st will be the day that we introduce the Nelson book for book club, and we'll read a little bit of the introduction. So again, if you were one of the 5 people that won a book tonight, be sure to send me an email at genxnatalie@gmail.com. That's genx, NATALIE @gmail.com. Send me your username, your address where you want me to send it, and whether or not you want me to write in the book, or would you rather not me do that. So anyways, do that. If I haven't heard from you by next time we do this next Tuesday, you will lose your spot and I will pick another winner.
And we should just pick from the people who are in that chat next Tuesday.
Right.
Do that.
I know.
and those who haven't won the book. So yeah, stick around. Stick around.
Yeah.
We're gonna give you stuff.
Yeah. Prozac Nation is a recommendation from Anna.
That's a rough one. I've read that. It's a rough one to read. And she's she passed away a little while ago.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. She didn't make it to. I'm not sure she made it to 50.
No, that's so sad.
She had some health issue. It wasn't self-inflicted.
Ah, gotcha. Happy birthday to Scott's Everything page! Yay!
Happy birthday. Go and enjoy your birthday.
Yes.
Go have a drink for me.
It sounds like a plan.
Drink in a while.
Well,
I know. I know. I need to.
The 4th turning is over.
The 4th turning is over. I know. I should go have a Guinness.
Yes. Right. Thank you so much for these last 13 weeks.
And can't wait for the next 3, and then the next however long we do this one for.
Yep. It'll last at least a couple of months, I would say. So there's so many great stories. Yeah,
every
there's
Tuesday.
there's so many great stories. There's so many great themes, Gen X themes in here that they talk about. Just from relationships with parents to career wise and the things that they do and
well, and not for nothing, but like it's not just Ricky and Ozzy and Harriet. You know, I know everybody here knows this. Mark Harmon is their uncle. Pam Dauber is their aunt.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And by the way, Mark Harmon, he was no slouch. Coming from the Nepo family too.
Right.
Tom Harmon.
Their grandpa was Tom Harmon. Like he was like a Heisman Trophy winner and like
yes, he was 1950 Heisman Trophy winner.
And then he married like the woman, like a beauty pageant winner, the hottest woman in the world.
Yep,
so
he sure did.
Their family history is incredible, and it's quite amazing. But then the how they tell their story of what happened to them and what they went through.
I'm really interested. I really am interested to get to the part where Ricky passes away because they were 18. I was 16 when my dad died. So I have a big empathy for young men who lose their fathers young. And that's a big part of the book. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it literally altered their lives. I mean, they're in ways that in such profound ways. And just a little teaser, but and they tell a whole story, but they were supposed to be on the plane and there's a reason why they weren't. And but it goes into the whole thing about that and they literally end this book with a section called, let me see, what is it? What if Pop hadn't died? That's the last few pages of the book. And you guys are gonna so enjoy it. I highly recommend getting your own copy. There is no place to get this for free, unfortunately. So you're gonna have to buy a copy on Audible. If you have an Audible membership, you can use a credit to get it, or it's like $12. And then the hardcover copy, I believe, I found it on Amazon. I think I paid $25 a copy for them. So, but honestly, it's worth it. It is worth it to put your Audible credits or a couple of dollars towards buying your own copy. But the thing is, I think our conversations are going to be fun enough to where if you didn't get your own copy, you're going to be fine. You're not going to be left out by any means because we're just be talking about what they wrote about in the book. So anyways, but I highly recommend it. It's super good. You got till September 1st to get your own copy, and then we will get started on What Happened to Your Hair by Matthew and Gunnar Nelson.
I would also mention it may not be available for a direct EPUB download link, but if you have a library membership, I notice it's on many library sites.
Perfect.
So
good call.
If you have a library membership at any library, I don't know if you know, but you can download and borrow ebooks online and audiobooks too on a bunch of different websites. So I just did a quick Google and it's on a bunch of them, so you can get it through there too.
Fantastic. So moral of the story is you got a little less than a month to find yourself a copy in any way you choose to do that. There's a bunch of different options out there. And I'm excited to share
the band. We're not going to tell you to download it, right?
Yeah. I support them. Support that, support the book, support the creators. They literally put their heart and soul into this and told
Strauss and Howe didn't need our money.
told a very difficult story, and and I'm happy to support them. I was excited to. In total, I bought 7 books between my copy, your copy, and the 5 copies I've given away, and I am more than, and I did it the right way from them. So I wanted to support them because they're, obviously I'm a big fan. So. Anyways, it's going to be great. I'm so excited to read the book with y'all. I think you're going to really, really enjoy it. I think you're going to be very surprised by a lot of things that they say. And it's so Gen X relatable. I mean, it's Gen X through and through. So it's exciting. Yay. All right.
All right. Wow. We almost went 3 hours tonight. Woo.
Yeah, I know. I gotta call tonight. I gotta get this video finished so I can get it posted.
Yeah. I
send
sent
me
you an
the email.
email. I did. I already sent it.
Okay.
Hey,
I'll put it in there. I'll put it in there somewhere. That was, yes, 1999's got to have its own. And because even 97, 98 is getting to be almost 30 minutes long on its own. And so trying to add 99 would have just made it.
99 is so crazy.
There's so much. So
it
anyways,
was such a weird year.
Thank you all so much. I'm going to go start editing and hopefully get this thing posted in the next day or two and get through copyright. That's gonna be another challenge. But anyways, I will see you all on Discord tomorrow night for Little House and Cobra Kai, Thursday for Incredible Hulk and Las Vegas, back here on Friday for my so-called live stream. Have a great night, Grendelson. Thank you so much. Bye.